goddamn. That was a good old burp. Mike's already rolling, by the way.
Nah, my bad. I'm fucking ripped.
No, it's so good. Like I decided,
It's just the cold open.
pretty much. I'm trying to do like a podcast hour where people are already talking before the record button hits and shit.
Well, hey, we can.
I was just seeing like how that would roll.
Well, how far back do we go? When do we start talking?
Fuck, we can.
What was the first thing I said?
I don't remember now. I pressed record, but I didn't know what you were exactly saying.
This is the Heavy Haystack podcast.
Yeah, this isn't the intro. This is still a cold open. We just talk pretty much. I've started putting that little fool's gold like riff as kind of like a signifier, so that they know it's the cold open instead of just actually cold talking.
Oh, them shitty riffs. No,
That's an Anthony riff too. You just shit.
I mean, all my riffs are shitty too.
Yeah. I got cause I got a couple of our songs mixed into some of the audio. I got that, like the intro song is Killdozer, the closing song's Poor Man's Doom.
All right, and on another subject, every time they do the cold opens where everybody's like, "Are we rolling?" I'm always like, "Bullshit! You knew it was rolling.
You knew it was rolling,
but that's funny.
Around.
That is funny because I didn't. So fuck. Who am I to tell?
Yeah, well, when I post this thing, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, right.
It'll just like have a fade in essentially. So you said you had something to say for the cold open here.
Now I'm bashful and shy.
Oh, now because the record button's on. Now it's a problem issue.
I wasn't prepped. I didn't go my me. Get the vocal warm ups in. But yeah, today the day we are recording this is February 24th. 24th. There we go. I'm doing the Donte intro.
Yeah.
The Porky Pig.
Get that day.
February 24th. But so it's the day before yours truly shot out of a womb.
Just shot like a cannon, like freaking.
Well, actually, no, I did not. I tried to hang myself with the umbilical cord. And surviving that means I was born a failure. But yeah, so Storm Tucker gets to kick off its calendar year tomorrow at Al's Bar, and I don't know, will this episode be up tomorrow afternoon? Or are you delaying it till
It'll
Monday?
be up by tomorrow. Like I'm gonna try to get this up either tonight or tomorrow morning.
All right, so y'all determine whether he's a liar or not. We'll figure it out.
Pretty much, like I don't know. Most people aren't gonna listen to it by the time the show runs, most likely.
But yes, and I wasn't even really concerned with doing a birthday show this year. I kind of felt like 30 was a good banger to be like, yeah, whatever. We'll retire the birthday show.
Lose the birthday show excuse.
Well, and Brian Dabney, everybody's favorite, very loud Yeti of a man.
He's such
he fucking. I don't know if he messaged me or saw me somewhere. Either way, he's like, "Hey, you doing a birthday show this year?" And I had offered them a spot last year. It didn't work out. Right. But last year we had Bud,
Bud, and Kjarn
with their letters combined, or I guess one more letter than us. Quick math.
Yeah. I guess.
I was gonna say we were trying to get the shortest band names possible. Apparently last year.
Yeah, we went Storm Toker. We just had to be epic with ours.
I mean, this year we got Fairy Ring.
Yes.
And just for current topical events, they are releasing an album very soon, and they just released their second single yesterday, and that shit is amazing.
Yes, I personally haven't gotten around to listening to it yet, but I will listen.
Beefy Beauty. It's great. I fucking love them. And then, like I said, of course, She returns for yet another birthday. They're tired. They're probably tired of it, but they keep coming.
We stand She so hard. We just want to play all the shows with She.
I mean, She is every stoner doom band in Kentucky's favorite band. So, literally, I don't know. I mean, everybody.
If anybody gets signed, they should. Please.
Yeah, everybody raves about them, and it's well deserved. Their riffs go harder than your riffs.
Kick all the ass. And also, speaking of podcast sharing, talk about the podcast. Old Bale, frontman of She, has a wonderful podcast of his own called To Ellen Back, talking about secular skeptics Bible podcast that everyone should check out. I'm learning some education about the Bible and Christian denominations and stuff, and I'm not even religious either, but it's educational.
So I don't listen to his podcast, but I check out his Twitch quite often, but I have no idea what the fuck his handle is, so just look up She and you'll find it eventually, probably.
Lord Bale, I'm pretty sure is what it is.
But yeah, so, and like I said, yeah, I'm really high, sorry y'all. But as far as
it wouldn't be David if he wasn't high.
The birthday show tradition, And just tomorrow being our first show of the year, and some of the shows that we've already been kind of offered this year. We're going to play with the Mighty Daikaiju again. And
I'm hyped for that one.
The Holler at Doom lineup is a fucking banger.
We haven't played any shows yet this year, and we have already half a year's worth of like awesome shit to look forward to.
Yeah, and everything that like we're looking forward to is awesome. I think last year, honestly, musically was the most rewarding I've ever had in my life. So, I mean, just the milestone of starting off the year, turning 30 to calendar year later and turning 31 here. Like, we've played with so many incredible bands over the past year that, like, literally most of my music taste is bands we've played with.
Like, remember those, like, Spotify, like, end of year playlists and those, like, little festival playlists? Like, 90% of the recent bands on David's list were all bands we played with or are friends with.
And it's generally just really fucking cool that 17 years into playing an instrument, like I'm able to play with so many great bands, and some of the people that I've been doing this side by side with pretty much since I was 15, 16 are still around, and the lifers make it worth it. But yeah, so just some backstory, because this is the cold open. It's going to be way too damn long, but
yeah, we hit the 7-minute mark already.
So birthday was, man, like my first band, Theories of the Apocalypse. Some y'all might know, some y'all might not. Had a decade-long run. The very first jam session that happened with the initial trio that got together was one of my birthday parties when I was 15.
A lot of birthday milestones.
Yeah. So, and then today, 6 years ago, was the final Theories of the Apocalypse show. Yet another birthday kind of scenario. We didn't advertise it as a birthday thing, really, I don't believe, but maybe.
I don't think it was.
But long story short, throughout the years, this time of year kind of always gets me in some way, shape, or form super reflective. And when you do this music thing long enough, you have a lot of highs, you have a lot of lows, you can honestly have a lot of heartbreak. You're always changing people out. Especially on a local level, you know, people break up. People, like some people, they come to your every show and then you never see them again.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of people over the years that came and went. The ones that come back, I fucking love you. The ones that haven't come back, I still fucking love you because you were a part of it along the way. And just remember, man, the door's always open for a fucking good time. We're gonna keep doing this shit. Funny enough, with the Theories of the Apocalypse mission, our new keyboardist and saxophone player, his last show was with Theories of the Apocalypse. So it's just weird how life does this full circle thing, and it just kind of brings you back to a grounded level of, man, this is all just really cool shit we're doing. And at the end of the day, musically, the journey has been the most rewarding thing I've got in life, and turning 31 and doing this podcast and sharing my useless ass opinion and having all these incredible bands on the horizon and incredible shows and opportunities and the chance to write new music with a new fucking member and whatever. I'm just eternally grateful. Let's do a goddamn podcast episode.
You're goddamn right. Greetings, hard and heavy music fans, and welcome to episode 13 of the Heavy Haystack podcast. Podcast about all things heavy music from music fans like you. The date is February 24th, 2023. And I'm your host, Donte, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. David Andrew Langley.
Arriba!
This is another news, singles, and review episode that we have on this day of ours. This episode's slightly delayed from the previous one, not too much so, because the last episode came out a day or two late, so this is only just past a week past the previous episode, which was the Municipal Waste Top 5 Album Ranking episode.
We were letting you catch your breath after all that thrash metal.
Yes, after all that thrash.
Well, I needed to catch my breath.
It was also partially delayed because I came back from a trip to Chicago last weekend. We usually record on the weekends, and my whole Friday through Monday was spent traveling up to my home birth city of Chicago and visiting family.
That whack ass Super Bowl fucking just interrupted it too.
Yeah, the Super Bowl did it. I didn't watch the Super Bowl,
Man,
but old David did.
Just quick sports side note. Every team I fucking rooted for in this playoffs lost. And I would pick individual teams in every fucking game. And I swear to God, every game I was rooting for one team or the other. The team I wanted to win lost. And, obviously my Titans weren't in it in the fucking first place. So I guess that was just an omen.
Sounds like your bad luck, David. That's what that sounds like.
Dude, everybody I wanted, because I was like, AFC Championship, NFC Championship, fuck it. I want the Bengals and I want the fucking Niners. That didn't happen. Jeez. I was like, fuck it. AJ Brown is on the Eagles, make the Titans look stupid, yada yada, whatever. So just long story short, if sports gambling ever becomes legal in Kentucky, do not take any advice from me.
Man, yeah, while he was worried about sports, I was in a major city for a lot of sports. I didn't get involved with any sports while I was in Chicago. But I did drive by Wrigley Field as well as the White Sox Stadium, which now has a new stupid name, the Guaranteed Rate Field. Like, fuck that shit. Same way that they call the Sears Tower the Willis Tower now. Fuck that shit.
See, when I went to Chicago, I went to fucking, I went to Wrigley, but it was all under construction and shit. It wasn't like the Majesty, which even then you always hear about how special Wrigley is, and it's not when you're just going. Like, you have to go to a game. Like, I looked at it, I was like, this is kind of under fucking well.
I've never been to a Cubs game myself. I obviously support the White Sox, because White Sox is on the south side where my family and all everybody I know resides. But yeah, I did do some cool stuff up there. Freaking went to a music venue up there, Reggie's. That's up there, which I definitely want to go. Storm Toker to play shows at.
Reggie's. Book Storm Toker.
Please book Storm Toker, Reggie's. I got some friends that are up in Chicago, though, that could possibly help get shows there and would attend while we're up there. That will be something to work on in the future.
Donte, it's a you job, sir.
That is a me job. I shall get us up in Chicago.
Jump on it, boy.
But yeah, I did that. Freaking got some. I didn't get Chicago deep dish pizza, but I did get a Chicago style hot dog from Portillo's, which is quite delicious.
Sorry. We were just the whole discussion about pizza. The one of the podcasts I'll be watching the most lately is the Kevin Nash podcast, and he's from Detroit.
They got their own type of pizza too.
But no, he's like, dude, there's no fucking square pizza in Detroit. I grew up where everybody he vehemently denies that Detroit style pizza was ever a thing as a kid. It's like a new marketing thing recently. And I'm not from Detroit to fucking say one way or the other. I do got some Michigan family I could probably ask, but it's just been funny because every fucking episode of that podcast, he gets on some, there's some fucking fan question about Detroit style pizza.
Because when I was a kid, because I lived in Chicago, which was close enough proximity to Detroit. So, we would hear things about stuff like that. And, of course, anytime we're talking about pizza talk or all that, we would shit talk Detroit because they're a rival city in sports teams and just in general to Chicago. And I'd never heard of Detroit-style pizza when I was a kid living there.
The Tigers can blow it out the ass. No, I don't know. That was Boston or something. That was a bad accent.
I don't know what accent that was you were going for. But yeah, had a lot of fun up there. Ate a whole lot of edibles, which was cool because it's all nice and legal up there in the shack.
Wait, you do stoner stuff too, man? Who the fuck? I just hugged a ginormous bag of weed before I came over here. It was kind of cool.
Friggin' my sister had ginormous bags of weed. She was smoking me under the table. This is weird because my sister, is 10 years old to me, was my guardian when I was a kid, through high school onward. And this is the first time we really got to hang out as adults together. And that was also the first time that we smoked together as well. And she smoked so goddamn much weed. I'm are you okay? Seriously? It's...
Can I get your sister's number? No, I'm just kidding.
Freaking... it was ridiculous. She every time we were in the car, you ready to smoke? Here's another edible. Hey, you want to smoke? I'm like, can we slow down a bit, please? God damn.
She sounds like... Are we staying with her when we play in Chicago? Because
she don't have enough space for all of us at our current place.
Well, I mean, we got a bus. We'll sleep in the driveway. Fuck it.
Does she have a? It's a real bad street. It's not, we couldn't find any room on that street to park that damn bus for one.
Fair enough.
And two, she gets a little bit worried. She like gets out of her car with like knife in hand.
Well, whatever. Dante's sister, let's get high sometime. I'll be at your
Yes, totally down for that. Like that'd be a surreal sight. Like freaking
I just totally
that was
fucking
a big burp. My Storm took a bandmate smoking with my sister, who was my parent for a good chunk of my life. But yeah, Chicago is a great city, great visiting up there. But we have now we're back and we have a show to talk about.
Yeah, music. Oh yeah, not drugs and sports.
Sometimes the people listening might care a little bit about who's hosting this show. Like we talk about ourselves a little bit.
If they're listening to us, they better care.
I would hope they care. But yeah, this is a news.
This won't go in the highlights.
Yeah, this is a new singles and review episode where we have some interesting stories to talk about, including a major metalcore and thrash metal reunions, a popular rapper covering some classic rock, and an big announcement that's been hyped up from a band that's gone over kind of like a wet fart. As also, we have a review of the new album from In Flames titled Foregone, which has been a very talked about record in recent weeks, really the recent half year, ever since the first single from that was released.
Funny, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it since the full album came out, but
it seems like a lot of talk tends to like die down a bit after that full album comes out, which is weird. It's just how like the state of things is these days a lot of the time.
Oh, dude, like I mean, we released an album in August, and it feels like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it feels forever ago since we've had the songs.
We had the
forever.
first two singles out like a year before.
Yeah,
but even then,
normal. These
other
days.
bands, let's say other bands do that. So
yeah. But before we get into all the news, singles, and reviews, we have a show sponsor. This is a band called Disminded, and this is a song titled "Unleash Hate." Yes, that song was Unleash Hate by the band Disminded, all the way from Wessel, Germany.
Yonder.
Over yonder in Wessel, Germany. I don't know where in Germany Wessel is, to be fair. I don't know where any of the cities I actually do know in Germany are, because I don't know German geography for shit. I don't know where fucking, what are some German cities? I know.
Frankfurt.
Yeah, Frankfurt, Germany. And there's one other big one. There's two other big ones I feel like I should know. God damn it.
Well,
you're gonna get us canceled.
Wait, is it not actually a city? Is that just
I'm not sure if it's a city or not.
Hamburg, isn't it?
Hamburg, yes, that's one of the big ones. Hamburg, Germany. Is that the capital of Germany? Hamburg? Or is it something else? Whatever. This band is from Wessel,
Wiener Schnitzel.
God, we're dumb Americans.
I know.
Deutschland, yeah. We love Deutschland. I like your bands. We like Creator and Rammstein and all Sodom and the whole Teutonic thrash scene and all that stuff, which we're talking a little bit about Creator later. But yeah, that was the song Unleash Hate by the band Disminded from Wessel, Germany. And that's going to be on their upcoming album, The Vision, which will be out March 3rd. That was a real nice song, like some melodic death metal with a good hint of groove and thrash metal mixed in with it.
He never tells me who the sponsor is before the episode, so I never get to check it out.
Yeah, David is kind of out of the loop on whatever the show sponsor is.
Except for Windrider that one time.
Except for Windrider. The first episode, I did make a Windrider, so it'd be somebody you knew to make that easy. But yeah, make sure to give that a listen to.
I'm sure you're great.
Yes, Disminded is a great band. They're going to listen to this and be like, man, is this promotion worth it? But yeah, give them a listen. Disminded, song Unleash Hate from The Vision, out March 3rd, coming real soon. Next Friday, I believe, is when that is. But with that out of the way, let's get into the heavy music news. Let's start off with a happy news story. Do you like happy news stories, David?
When do we ever get them?
Sometimes we get them.
Oh, we're about to get one?
Yeah, we're about to get one.
I thought that was pure sarcasm.
Oh, no,
because
this
the word
is
news
legit.
and positivity.
Sometimes, there's definitely some negativity, including some pretty nasty BS that's going to be talked about in this episode. But this first news story is actually a happy one. Megadeth is reuniting with OG guitarist Marty Friedman for a show in Japan. Marty Friedman, of course, in case you didn't know, was the Megadeth lead guitarist who first played with the band on their very popular, considerably trademark album, Rust in Peace, from 1990, all the way up until their most hated album, Risk, that leaving the band back in 2000.
So at least they had Bill Goldberg in a fucking music video for that album.
Bill Goldberg was in a music video.
Yeah, that shitty ass song "Crush 'Em."
Oh yeah, I've seen just a few clips from Crush 'Em. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, no, Bill Goldberg's like the badass in the video.
Jesus Christ, there's so much.
They actually performed on WCW Nitro.
Really? Nice.
They went out of business very shortly after. Kiss did too, though. So
wow,
they had the Kiss Demon character that debuted.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember this from when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was terrible. But
yeah, like Marty Friedman.
They also released a really shitty fucking Judas Priest cover.
Oh yeah, I remember you asked if I was going to include that episode.
Well, after I saw Megadeth in the news, I just knew I could trash on it now. Pretty Dave, much. Do not sing Halford, you fuck. Otherwise, I love your music and riffs, but you're kind of a shit person. And
is this praising or shitting on Dave?
Megadeth is one of my I've grown up love hates, because literally I was just sucked Megadeth's dick my entire childhood, and this Marty Friedman thing would excite me a lot more if it was I don't know, 10 years ago when I was a little more fuck yeah Megadeth. But even then, about a year ago, I went on a fucking spiel where I couldn't quit listening to fucking Megadeth. It's kind of the same relationship I have with Metallica too. Ha ha! Fuck you, Dave. I have the same same relationship with your band that I do Metallica, where I just go through phases where I'm like, man, fuck that band. I'm tired of hearing about them. Like Dave whines about not being a Metallica. They fucking suck. Blah blah blah.
Pretty much every news story.
And then I put on fucking Peace Sales and listen to it all the way through. They like chilling, and I'm like, riffs. And then Rust in Peace, obviously.
Rust in Peace, you can't. Is unfuckwittable. As a classic.
Countdown to Extinction's one of my favorite albums ever too. But yeah, I fucking love Megadeth, but I fucking hate Megadeth. I hate MegaDave. How about that?
MegaDave.
And I don't even, because like he is such a 50-50 motherfucker in interviews too. Like if I watch an hour-long interview, there's 30 minutes I think he's like a complete chode, and there's 30 minutes that I'm like super interested what he has to say. I read his book like 3 times.
He's a very layered person.
Like he is one of those motherfuckers that's just like I want to hate him more than I do, and I want to like him more than I do, because again, like guitar player wise, there's not very many people that are as innovative rhythmically.
He's one of the top guitar players ever.
And then even then he fucking rips on leads, but he's always had like a better lead guy in the band. Yeah, which again, Marty Friedman's probably the best guitar player he ever had. So
I always love his policy of
Chris Broderick, but I just now taught you about that a couple episodes back.
Basically calling me out on my lack of... Basically, I'm very up to date on the modern metal scene. As far as the classic metal stuff, there's some gaps in my knowledge, I will have to admit. But that's why we have old David here.
I was going to say, we kind of do bridge the gap pretty good.
Yeah, like I got the modern stuff, David has the classic stuff, so we have an all-encompassing view of the metal world.
But yeah, no, I would be more excited about it. It's still great. I mean, I think... Come on, Sepultura. But I think more bands should totally fucking take the note and do cool shit. I mean, fucking Ozzy got back with Zach. Like just if you got a classic fucking thing going on, like work it out, man. And I mean, obviously there's some shit that's irreparable, but it's like, why is Skid Row without Sebastian Bach? Why is Sebastian Bach without Skid Row? Like, come on,
you need each other.
Let's at least once. And this might be just a one-off.
This is a one-off.
Yeah.
This is just a one-off.
But even then, it's cool. Like it's something for the people that love the fucking band to sink their teeth into. And as a Megadeth fan, for the most part, I know this has been a very mixed bag, but it's cool. It is cool. But again, fuck you, MegaDave.
Well, like speaking of Sepultura, I remember Max Cavalera was just interviewed about like a possible reuniting with Sepultura, and he said like he has zero interest right now in doing that, and he has Cavalera conspiracy for playing all his classic Sepultura stuff and all the anniversaries on that end. So he doesn't seem to really need or want to rejoin with Sepultura, sadly. But Sepultura is doing better right now than they have since Max left. They have like their most critical acclaim and respect now, I believe. Took them about 20 years.
Which would be a great time now to fucking commemorate it somehow. But
if we could have like a Soulfly Sepultura tour, that would be the shit.
Like in the modern era, not even a tour. Like I said, the modern era, do what Megadeth's doing. Do one show, fucking stream the motherfucker, let everybody in the world see
festival.
it.
It'd be cool.
But whatever. Who are we? We're just a bunch of motherfuckers ain't made a dime.
Playing dimes, we just goes right back into paying for the band.
Oh, we did probably make more dimes last year than we ever have, and we have $0 to show for it.
We had to actually like start looking at tech shit. As far as made enough money for that.
It's coming soon.
But yeah, that is that reunion with Marty Friedman. First time that he's played with him in 23 years is going to be happening February 27th at the Nippon Budokan Arena.
That's also
Japan.
cool too, because apparently they've never played there.
Oh, they haven't?
Yeah, and I'm like, Budokan, like, because I mean, it's not like a massive hall, but like
it is a very legendary hall. It's a very storied hall.
I mean, I think I'm 90% sure Rising in the East, Judas Priest, the old fucking live album was recorded there. Ozzy's got his live at Budokan album. But yeah, it's like Budokan, Hammersmith, Royal Albert Hall, like it's one of those names. It's one of those world names that Madison Square Garden.
Everybody knows.
As soon as you say it,
wants to play there.
You're like, oh yeah, it's like Red Rocks.
Yeah, Red Rocks. One day we'll play Red Rocks.
And I'll say, hey, one day we'll play Budokan.
If we're opening on like the first band on a bill of like 10 bands, I don't care.
Dude, I would be the band that plays in the parking lot if they let us. I don't give a fuck.
But yeah, that's happening. That's like Megadeth reunion with classic guitarist Marty Friedman. A lot of fans are excited for that. But while we're on the topic of Megadeth, this is a duality of life, because now we have a negative story about Megadeth following that directly right afterwards. Megadeth is currently being sued over the album artwork for their latest album, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. Their artist Brent Elliott White is the artist suing the band, and he's previously worked with the band on 3 other projects before. He was first contacted about doing the artwork for the album in early 2020. He developed artwork for it and like spent hours on developing the concept and the artwork, but no contract was made. He developed more artwork in 2021. Moving a year later, he was asked to develop some more artwork for their like stage show and stage like artwork and stuff like that. He reminded the management at the time who he was talking to, who was his go-between. I forget the name of the manager for Megadeth, but that's who he was talking to. He said like, all right, I'll make this stage artwork, but like, remember this contract still hasn't been made and I still have the copyright because y'all haven't like paid for me selling the rights off to you yet. And it said, oh yeah, we'll definitely get that handled. I think it said like a week later, the first single dropped with the album artwork that he already like wrote for them, as well as merchandise was being sold with his artwork on it on Megadeth's websites and outlets for their merchandise.
See, the only thing I wonder just with how big of an operation that this is, if there isn't a actual contractual agreement, does he really have anything to stand on?
Well, he has 3 previous projects, and like essentially some of the other details were that he's worked on 3 I don't know if it's 3 albums or just 3 merch ideas or something like that with them before, and he was set to be paid. I think that it was that the management was trying to work out a deal with the artist where he would be paid the same amount he was on the previous project he did for them. He turned that down. But they just went ahead anyway, putting out the artwork with like no set contract in motion because I guess they had a certain timetable for the album release that they didn't want to slow down for the album artwork.
But he said he did copyright his own shit before he gave it to them.
Yes, and that is what he's suing them for. And now it is in litigation for.
Yeah. Well, I mean that'll get worked out. I feel like that's just kind of small for Megadeth to be struggling with.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a communication, like something.
It's possibly a communication.
Like Dave is probably like, God damn it, I'm gonna kick that motherfucker in the dick. Hello, me, wow, you know. But
that was a pretty good impression, honestly.
But yeah, now well, hey, he does know karate. He'll fuck that motherfucker up.
Oh man,
like, why did you sign the contract? Why didn't you get this guy's money?
Yeah, I feel like this might be on a fault on the part of the management more so than the band themselves. I don't know how involved they are with this exact process and their album rollout.
Pay the artist, Bobby.
It's like, goddamn pay. I can't do good Megadave. But hopefully that gets settled. Hopefully the artist.
It gives me a migraine headache when you don't pay the artist. Sorry.
Hopefully Brent Elliott Smith gets
this might be the running gag in the episode. I don't know.
Oh boy, this is what I can feel episode title brewing already. It's coming up.
MegaDave.
But yeah, we will see how that all rolls out in coming time. Maybe we'll get an update about that. We shall keep our eye on the metal sites to see how that pans out.
Probably a settlement.
That's like going to be boring and we're not really going to hear about.
Yeah.
Coming into more weirder news in the so this is really a small blurb because it's something that's already happened before, so it's not quite as shocking as it was the first time. Tommy Lee, drummer of Motley Crue, has posted another nude photo, this one of his ass and balls from behind, and he has some saggy old 60-year-old man balls. I looked at the picture and I regret it.
I didn't see this one actually, but I mean, whatever. I've watched Pam slob the knob and shit. What I mean, like that was the thing. Like when everybody made a big deal about his song getting posted, it was like, has not everybody like already seen it? Like nobody.
Yeah, there's a whole very popular video.
The morbid curiosity that got everybody because everybody's like, oh yeah. It's like all my life. It's like, oh yeah, Peter Steele's got a master song. Oh yeah, Tommy Lee's got a master song. As soon as the internet got really fast, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna look up these dicks.
Yeah, just check out some Rockstar dicks.
I mean, dude, the internet's a crazy place.
It is a very crazy place. But yeah, this.
I ain't scared to look at no dicks.
I'd like his balls are so goddamn saggy. It's like I looked at the picture. It's all right. But like he posted it on Twitter and he made a little joke about saying like, "Hey, like Mr. Peanut, you should sponsor us or some shit like that." I forgot the exact quote.
If we ever get stupid, rich, and famous, and I can get away with posting my saggy old man balls on the internet. You better believe y'all about to see some David old man balls when I'm 60.
Old David.
And hell, even if I'm not famous, I'm pretty close to it sometimes anyway. So
it probably takes the 60 to really start making money off this heavy metal thing.
well, I mean, only grands, only
Only grams.
only gramps. There we go.
Holy grass. But yeah, there's a speculation that this is possibly a publicity stunt for their upcoming tour, which they've
Molly Crew and publicity stunts.
Yeah, very
Oh
shocking.
my God.
I believe this will be the first tour they will have with new guitarist John Five, who replaced Mick Mars, who decided to retire from not music, but from Motley Crue. He's still making music.
Happy retirement, Riff Man.
Yes,
You were the best part of that band.
Yes, Mick Mars is definitely the most likable guy in the band and the underrated skill man of that band as well.
I mean, he's by far one of the most underrated guitar players of the 80s. Like, when people talk about greatest guitar players, nobody talks about him, but he's always been super tasteful. He fucking riffs.
He's like, because he doesn't have that rock star personality.
He is by far the strongest piece of that band, and that band is as big, and they were
the Kings of Glam.
They were one of my OG favorites, and that was kind of one of those things that I just grew out of that style a little more. But like I said, I still go back and there's certain songs, and when I go back, it's like the one redeeming factor that keeps me coming back is Mick Mars' fucking riffs.
The riffs.
But John Five's
riff beast in his own right.
He's gonna be fantastic in that role.
He's got that. Yeah, like they made a good choice with John Five. He can get it done
aesthetically too.
Yes, he does match the whole like glammy rock star aesthetic with it. But enough about Tommy Lee's saggy old man balls and
Molly Crew did a publicity stunt. Oh my God!
This story is like a little bit.
I wish I would have thought of that.
This story is a little bit old now by this point, but it is something that's like pretty notable. The 2023 Rock and Metal Grammy winners, which really there's only two of them in that category. Ozzy Osbourne won the awards for Best Metal Performance with Degradation Rules, the song he had on his new album with one of the songs he had with Tony Iommi.
Even close to the best song on that fucking album.
It's not the best song on the album. It's probably the most
Tony Iommi and Ozzy are alive. Fucking give it to Jeff fucking Beck, but whatever.
Yes, he won that.
Patient Number 9 was by far the best song on the album.
Patient Number 9 was a good one. He won for that, and he also won Best Rock Album with the album Patient Number 9.
Well, again, I just gushed over Ozzy 2 episodes ago, but winning Grammys is just kind of like, here's your lifetime achievement, essentially.
That's just what I was about to say. This is really like, at this point, the Rock and Metal Grammys are pretty much just a lifetime achievement award because nobody new really wins Rock and Metal Grammy anymore.
And when they do, it's like a one-off.
Yeah, like High on Fire was a big shock when they won the best performance.
I remember that.
I was like, who? Yeah, first off, how do y'all know High on Fire for one in the Grammy? Like, who was on the Grammy?
Well, they usually have like 2 cool bands in the nominations.
Yeah, and this year, like one of the band I was in both really was nominated, I think, in all the categories. The one that a lot of people in the rock and metal world was pulling for is Turnstile. Turnstile is like an upcoming band that came out of the hardcore punk scene, but with their latest album Glow On moved more into like a electronic indie rock direction while still keeping a lot of their punk and hardcore roots involved with it. And the record's done gangbusters really well. They've been on all the late night shows, has so much hype, and it's a quality record. One of my favorite records in 2021 when it came out. But by the time they got nominated again for this one in 2022, really a lot of the hype had already died down for it already. They still have a lot of hype. They're still a very well talked about band, but really like there should have been that initial wave of hype when the album first came out that they should have won it. But they got nominated for Best Metal.
And I feel like the retirement announcement probably fueled it even more.
Yeah, like this is really, because this might be the last time you can have a chance to award Ozzy or something, so this would be the time to do it. Speaking of MegaDave, he got nominated in the Best Metal Performance for We'll Be Back off the new album.
Fuck yeah, guys.
And I think Ghost was nominated in Best Metal Performance as well for one of the least metal songs on their new record. Really, the whole new Ghost record, Impera, is not a metal record at all. They got nominated for Call Me a Little Sunshine, which is a softer ballad song. For Best Metal Performance, the only metal track on Impera was 20s, which seems like I'm the only guy who likes that song on that record.
I still haven't really dove into it. I did watch the Punk Rock NBA video on the Ghost thing. That was actually a really good video. It's weird the way he talks about some bands sometimes.
He has like a weird like love-hate relationship with metal, mostly with the fans of metal because he.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, don't we all?
Yeah, like he's.
I mean, I'm one of them, and I have a love-hate with me on how I approach shit. So I get it, but it's just I don't know because like he'll praise a band while shitting on them. Like he kind of did with Gojira too.
Yeah, he does because like
there's really nothing interesting about this band. And I'm like,
the thing with like Finn McKenzie and Punk Rock NBA is because his day job that he does outside of YouTube is marketing essentially.
Yeah.
So like his brain really goes into like music, basically something that has to be marketable, catchy, something that will like make money and make a lot of fans easily. A band like Gojira is an anomaly and how popular they've gotten versus everything else about them. They are they're probably the heaviest and extreme band to get to that level of popularity since Slipknot. And compared to Slipknot, they don't even have big arena hooks for the most part for a lot of their songs. They just have like
they're getting there.
But like
I would say the last two albums have a lot, but yeah, not really hooks per se either.
Like they don't have something like a duality.
But songwriting wise, there's definitely a better structure, which I'm going to get on that once we get to the singles about songwriting. We'll get there. I have a kind of a pet peeve going on that. It's nobody in particular's fault, but the one band that we're going to talk about, I'm going to shit on them again a little bit.
Joy.
But yeah, Grammys, fucking whatever. I mean, congrats, Ozzy, because you deserve any award that you get for just being the dude. But at the same time, it is just kind of like here's your shiny statue, Mr. Guy that's done it 40 years and announced the retirement. Like, I don't know. And like I said, you just said the other nominees, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but speaking of like the Grammys not really knowing rock and metal at all, the other big winner of the rock Grammys was Brandi Carlile, who won Best Rock Song and Best Rock Performance for her song Broken Horses. I listened to that song, Broken Horses. It's a folk rock song. For one, that has a little bit of electric guitar underneath. It's just enough to be considered a rock song. And she won her awards over bands like Ozzy Osbourne, Turnstile, The Black Keys, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. But given Red Hot Chili Peppers didn't have their 2 records they released last year, not that great. Black Keys, solid record. They're always
Black Summer was okay single. I didn't really listen to albums, but
it was Wild Child was a song that Black Keys.
I was say that the Black Summer song by Chili Peppers got in my rotation for a while, but I didn't really listen to the records.
I listened to the first of the records that came out. I think it was Unlimited Love was the name of the album. Very boring outside of Flea's stellar bass playing. Flea was just always good. Like I can always listen to Flea's bass lines, but outside of that, not that exciting.
I mean, I would say that for a band that I don't really hate, they aren't one that excites me too much either.
Yeah, that's not a lot of excitement in the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I mean, the songs I like, I do love.
They got John Frusciante back, still not exciting.
I mean, I will say that going every episode, tripping balls.
Oh my god, again?
and I watched.
You ever thought you might have a problem, David?
Red Hot Chili Peppers live. No. A lot of my problems aren't when I'm tripping balls. So I do have problems. But
got problems with it ain't tripping balls.
But yeah, no, I was like, 5 a.m. watching fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers live at Reading Festival. And like when you put their career like that, I mean, there's a lot of cool shit there. I mean, it was a good time on the.
They have their hits
on the enhancers. But yeah, I mean, definitely not a band that. And even as a bass player, like Flea's tone doesn't excite me either. But he's a great bass player.
He's a wonderful bass player.
But tonality-wise, not my favorite.
Yeah. But yes, like Ozzy Osbourne and Brandi Carlile are the big Grammy winners this year. Once again, Grammys don't quite know rock and metal too well. At least Ghost got a mention, thankfully. They didn't win. They won an American Music Award for Best Rock Album, but they didn't have much competition over there. They were going up against Imagine Dragons, MGK, and Red Hot Chili Peppers for the American Music Awards.
Goddamn.
Oh, and I think, what's that band? Fucking Clockwork band. The Radiohead ripoffs. Coldplay. That's good. They released something who they were on that nomination too.
I think I almost cried during a Coldplay song once. But it was the Macho Man Randy Savage death video on WWE. I didn't realize I was almost about to cry to Coldplay, and then I realized it was Coldplay, and I got really upset with myself.
That was a sad moment. I remember I went through a stint where I enjoyed some Coldplay songs. They do have some solid songs back when I was back.
I can't even tell you what that song's called, and I can't tell you what any other one's called.
It was like Speed of Sound was one that was pretty good. I think they had a song called Clockworks that was cool. And it had this one other like kind of Baroque pop thing that was all right. I don't remember what it was called. I rule the world or something. I don't know.
All right,
let's get off the Coldplay kick. Fuck Coldplay.
Yeah.
This is a hard rock.
Yeah, I'll say they're not going to get the love Imagine Dragons did on this podcast.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's enough about the Grammys. Let's get into some more cooler news.
Yeah, fuck the Grammys. We got to deal with our own goddamn award show in 2 weeks or a week.
Oh yeah, Lexington Music Awards. That'll be something.
God damn it, Donte, we better win.
You know we ain't winning. We never win.
No.
We're only in it because we're the only metal band people know. The only one of 4 metal bands people know.
Yeah, it's David Langley's kids' band. Because honestly, with the people that are involved with it, I'm not trying to fucking shit on us, but that's kind of the deal.
Yeah. Like, if we were nominated amongst like other bands, like
to be fair, when I was nominated for Bass Player of the Year, I still don't know if the intent was my dad or me. Because that was the year my dad passed.
So you think they might have trying to posthumously nominate you?
Well, I asked, and somebody said, no, it's you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But like at the same time, I was just like, do these people even fucking... but, again...
These people even know me? Do you know me?
Again, who knows? I mean, again, nominations are cool. The nominations are 100% legit. So
it feels good to be acknowledged every once in a while.
I mean, like I said, it's somebody voting for us, and it's a public vote for that. So
true, it's
something.
But yeah, cooler news that we have going on. Killswitch Engage, Metalcore Kings, Killswitch Engage, not lead man, but guitarist and producer Adam Dutkiewicz is reuniting with old previous singer Howard Jones for a new project.
I've never heard anybody actually say his last name. Is that like legit, or is that an attempt?
No, that's his name, Dutkiewicz. Right. Usually most people say Adam D.
Dutkiewicz.
Yes.
Okay, that's actually not that bad.
Yes, Adam Dutkiewicz.
I don't know if I've ever tried to say it out loud.
I'm pretty sure I've heard it in interviews.
Like Adam Douche Tits or something.
Adam Douche Tits. He'd probably giggle at that.
He'd probably, yeah. Oh, dude, I remember when I saw Killswitch at Ozfest, he was like doing the super short shorts and tank top kind of get up.
I always like him in his like little like superhero cape that he does. But yeah, like on Instagram and other social media, a picture was posted with Adam D and Howard Jones going to get sushi together and going over some demos for a new project that they're doing. They posted on social media announcing demos, and the last time that Adam D and Howard Jones collaborated together was on the most recent Killswitch album, Atonement, from 2019.
I'll say he did a track or two, didn't he?
He did one track, The Signal Fire, which was a track that had both current and original, both simultaneously current and original Killswitch frontman Jesse Leach on vocals, with Howard Jones guesting on the track, providing some. Oddly, he only did screaming vocals on it, no melodic vocals, which he's more known for.
And we'll see, but there you go. That's the whole thing that we were just talking about. Like, do the cool shit.
Yeah, like everybody loves Howard. A lot of people love Howard. A lot of people even prefer Howard over Jesse, including myself, because the era of Killswitch I got into was Howard Jones.
Same. I mean, I've never even really dove into the Jesse fucking shit for real.
And also, like, if you look on Spotify, all their most popular songs are Howard era songs still. My Curse, friggin' End of Heartache, the Holy Diver cover. Those are the top 3 songs that Killswitch has on their streaming services. Everybody likes Howard. Everybody loves Howard, and they want to hear him do more stuff with Adam D. And I'm very curious as to what this project is going to be. I'm hoping that it doesn't wind up going down a path of another. What's that side project he has with Jesse Leach? The Times of Grace.
I have no idea.
You don't know what Times of Grace is?
I don't think I've heard of it, no.
That's a side project that Adam D has with Jesse Leach, where it's more of like a straight up rock project. It's a good rock project. They have 2 albums, and it was very well praised. The first album came out in like 2012, and then they just released the second album like in 2020. And it's
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's completely. I've not heard shit about that. But again, I mean, I'm not like. I have a respect and like for some of the Killswitch stuff, but it was never like one of my bands. I haven't seen them live. I mean, they're great, but it's just one of those ones I've not been like super on top of.
Yeah, for me, like that was my gateway into both metalcore and more traditional metal style. So they're like really up there for me.
Yeah.
In high school, like that was like my real quote unquote true metal gateway.
So I was gonna say I probably got the end of Heartache around the time that I got like into Shadows Fall, and then but like also Mastodon and like Gojira.
Yeah, the whole new wave of American.
So like for me, like Killswitch just probably got a little lost in the mix for me at the time. They're like, but they were always there.
They're
like
the biggest band in metalcore.
I did not listen to them. It just like I said, I didn't like the only album I've actually listened to like all the way through. Honestly, probably Into Heartache.
For me, like I loved Into Heartache, but their second album, As Daylight Dies, second Howard album, As Daylight Dies, was my personal favorite.
And the old CM Punk theme song. Just all we're gonna
Firebirds.
Yeah,
which that was actually a standalone single. That was the first song that Howard Jones did with Killswitch Engage, and that was a standalone single that wound up being a opening song for CM Punk.
Somebody else wanted it. I can't remember. Well, yeah, whatever. Wait, we'll quit bringing up wrestling, Dave.
But yeah, last time
you remember when I played on WCW Nitro?
But the last album that Killswitch Engage had with Howard Jones was their 2009 self-titled, which is the only bad album Killswitch Engage has, really. That album was fucking terrible. Howard Jones is going through some depression. The band is going through depression. They say that it's their least favorite album themselves because they already had a self-titled record in 2000, and then they did a second self-titled record in 2009, just to show you how poorly creative they were during that time period. If you have two self-titled albums, there's a problem.
Yeah, I did not know that, and that's hilarious.
Yeah, because like I remember when that first announced, like, we have our new album, Killswitch Engage. I'm like, don't you already have that? Wasn't that your first record? And it was. And it's like, you could. How bad off do you have to be to not think of a title?
The opportunity. Killswitch Engage 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, they could have did that, but it was just Killswitch Engage 2009 is what it is. Even the album art sucked because like their guitarist. I think
I recall it. Yeah,
the guitarist does all their album work, and this was their most boring album. It's just like a yellow panther leopard looking thing. It's not that exciting looking. That was a bad record. I remember listening to it hyped as fuck because this was when I was like hype as fuck for Killswitch Engage. I was like super hype on As Daylight Dies and Into Heartache. I'm like, yeah, new Killswitch. And then they heard the first single. I'm like, why isn't this hitting? This is not a hitting at all.
Hey, sometimes it happens. Life gets in the way.
But yeah, Howard Jones left the band.
It's kind of like what I was talking about with In Flames that last time, where I was like, I saw him live the first time. I was like, but then you read back on the interviews and they're like, yeah, everything sucked. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, they acknowledged it.
So like following that 2009 second self-titled album, Howard Jones left the band in 2012. Like amicably, mostly because both the band and Howard Jones realized this ain't working. The heart's not in it. And he left and had to deal with some personal stuff himself with that. And after a bunch of singer trials, Jesse Leach came back that same year, and they released Jesse Leach's return album in 2013, Disarming the Descent, which had the much lauded single In Due Time, which is one of Killswitch's most popular songs now. But yeah, like I'm personally very excited for this new project that Howard Jones and Adam D is going to do. Howard Jones keeps so busy with many projects that he has.
What if it's a different band name with the album name Killswitch Engage?
They better not.
I know, right?
That might be a contractual thing they can't do. But yeah, like I'm excited for that. Little side note, Adam D, give us another goddamn Serpentine Dominion album. Fuck. We need another one of those.
See, I'm completely lost on all this.
You don't know what Serpentine Dominion is?
Apparently, I like Adam D's short shorts, and I never checked anything else out.
You don't know what Serpentine Dominion is? Fuck. Serpentine Dominion is another side project with Adam D doing all the guitars for, Corpse Grinder on vocals, and the drummer from the Black Dahlia Murder on drums.
Wait. No, well, Corpse Grinder does a lot of shit.
Corpse Grinder does a lot, but this is a whole album they did, and it's fucking amazing. It's like just heavy ass melodic death metal with Corpse Grinder on it.
Sorry, Donte. I was too busy kicking out my masturbating bass player.
This was well before Dave Ellison got kicked out. Dave Ellison's floundering right now, by the way. He's doing songs at ICP. You know he's fucked up right now.
Well, I think he's like in a Megadeth, like,
yeah, Kings of Thrash.
Yeah, what the fuck ever.
Ellison, like, please get back.
Don't beat your dick to very young women when you're 40 something.
Yeah, that's especially when you're
60
spouting Christian stuff and I'm fapping to this 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Dave Ellison, come on, we love you, brother. Please get back in here.
Such great memes at the time, though.
It was great memes. Yeah. Moving on to the next story, we got after a year of this being hyped up to death, which I knew was going to be not exciting, not very interesting when it was announced, Fear Factory have finally announced.
That's all you had to say.
At long last. Fear Factory have announced their new vocalist finally. Their new vocalist is a man by the name of Milo Silvestro of Rome, Italy.
Is he just a YouTube guy?
Yes, he was. He posted stuff on YouTube, but he did have a band, an electronic metal band called Dead Channel, which.
I saw our buddy Steven say something about like, well, we figured it was this guy because he removed all of his Fear Factory covers.
Yes, Reddit figured this out a year ago because like around the time when Burton C. Bell, the original Fear Factory singer, left, there was like when Milo was tapped to be a singer. Around that time, all of his covers of Fear Factory were taken off of his YouTube channel. Even articles that have tried to share the videos are like already been taken down for copyright, it says. But yeah, this is something like basically even while like Dino was interviewing and checking out singers, he said he went through around like 300 tryout videos. Some of them jokey, some of them goofy, some of them just doing dumb shit just to be funny to send some to Dino. But he had a lot of considerations, including some women, he said, in his top 5 picks that he had. But he kept coming back to Milo here.
I don't know.
Milo's
not huge on the Fear Factory thing. I've seen him live, and even then, which again, if I see you live, and I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah. I enjoy.
It's like, who are they gonna get that was gonna excite anybody, anyways?
Yeah, thing is, I feel like I do enjoy Fear Factory, and of course, they're very innovative in many ways. They're like one of the first industrial metal bands, one of the first bands to do the mixture of singing and screaming vocals, one of the first bands to use extended range guitars. But as good as they are, how innovative as Fear Factory is, so many bands took what they did and improved upon it very quickly, and kind of like left Fear Factory in the dust, which is part of.
Kind of I felt like it was primitive.
Yeah, like they're very innovative. A lot of their ideas have been taken on and still big today. Industrial metal is still huge. Extended range guitars, Korn wound up being the bigger band to do extended range guitars and make that popular. And then of course you have the whole gent movement, of course, with the Meshuggah doing like extended range guitars as well.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. Is like, you know, if you're talking about like benchmark bands for doing that, like Meshuggah keeps their status, you know.
Like, of course, Korn was doing it, but as far as being technical with it, like Meshuggah is the band.
Fear Factory, they've never excited me that much.
Dino is like quality guitar, so he's got like a tight right hand.
Oh yeah, like Divine Heresy and shit. Like he was the coolest part when I saw him.
Oh yeah,
but like I said, you said it, and I have no context of any of that shit. And I still don't know who the fuck they could have even got or announced. Because, like, anybody that's really fucking worth it's probably going to be in a better spot than Fear Factory is right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I actually listened to a podcast with Milo Silvestro and Dino Cazares on it, on the Justice Show. I listened to this podcast where they just announced, like, the day after they announced that Milo Silvestro was the new singer, Jamie Joss released a podcast episode interviewing Milo Silvestro, so we got to get a little bit of background on him. And he was in an electronic metal band called Dead Channel that was all him. He was like a 9 Inch Nails style project where he did everything. He's a multi-instrumentalist. His parents are musicians themselves. And he's also been doing music professionally as a job for a number of years. He's 35, so not much older than us. And shared some funny stories of when he first met up with Dino in LA and like just having some culture shock of like coming to America for the like first time and going to the Rainbow and things like that.
Yeah, see, it's like, why don't you just announce that?
Yeah,
Like, why don't you just get him on board and just be like, yeah, new singer.
Yeah, like
You draw it out.
Dino's been saying that like he wanted to like have something to announce alongside the singer thing, which is for this is the tour they have with Static X and Mushroom Head that's coming up this spring.
Enjoy.
But hey, I'm hype as fuck for that lineup. Like Mushroom Head, Static X, and Fear Factory. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it.
I'll save some money.
Mushroom Head's always fun. You need to see Mushroom Head live. They are great. They are wonderful. Even with their new lineup change, they're great.
Did you see the the Hard Times article about?
Yes, but something cool about that: the keyboardist of Mushroom Head, Richard Stitch Thomas, shared that article and thought it was hilarious.
Oh, dude, it's
fucking... So I'm glad that he takes it in stride.
Yeah, be self-aware for sure.
But the last line of that was even more devastating.
Beer me, Donte.
I shall beer you. We are drinking, and David's already high. This is. I'm surprised this hasn't gone off the rails already.
I got a 2-beer limit, so.
But yeah, this Milo Silvestro like had his Project Dead channel and also his YouTube channel where he had some covers. Performing Fear Factory songs. I hadn't listened to the covers of the Fear Factory songs, but I did listen to some of Dead Channel. Side note, Dead Channel isn't that big of a band. They have like 300 monthly Spotify listeners. But I listened to it. It's solid enough stuff. The style of his vocals fits what Fear Factory does. I still like Burton C. Bell's voice a little bit better. But stylistically, he fits the bill. And I feel like he'll get the job done.
Another group of dudes that can't figure their shit out.
Yeah, I feel like he'll get the job done well enough. I'm curious though. Like I'm hoping. Like I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm just like I'm more so just salty about this. How long this singer announcement got stretched out.
Get them and announce it. It's like if it's not somebody that's gonna raise the profile really, then just fucking put it out there.
Yeah, but Milo Silvestro from Rome, Italy. He's going to be on tour with them with their upcoming Static X and Mushroom Head tour. And that should be something that'll be entertaining to see. Hopefully Milo handles the job. And this is his first tour as well, by the way, that he's going to be on. Pretty big tour for a first tour for a guy to go on.
I'll say better have it, I guess.
Better have it. But yeah, that should be very interesting to see. So kudos to Milo for getting the new frontman job.
Oh yeah, no, congratulations for you. Just your Fear Factory did do you no favors.
Yeah, like you're gonna get a lot of shit. I can already tell you. Next story. This is an interesting little thing happening. T-Pain, very popular hip rapper and singer who was infamous for popularizing auto-tune in modern pop music for a lot of people, but being the one guy that really does it well. He is releasing a record of covers, covering classic rock and metal songs as well as some other songs on his new covers record. It's called On Top of the Covers. And he's going to be covering classic rock and metal songs such as Don't Stop Believing by Journey and War Pigs by Black Sabbath on this, with no autotune. There's going to be no autotune on this release as well.
So we get to actually hear what he sounds like?
Yes, but he is a really good singer. He was on The Masked Singer with no autotune, that little show, and he is actually a good, really strong singer.
I'll say my T-Pain knowledge is very... minimum.
The reason why he got so good with popular with the autotune is because he can actually sing under the autotune, which a lot of people use it as a crutch, where he just uses it as a creative choice more so. And besides these songs like by Journey and Black Sabbath that he's covering, he's also featuring some other more orthodox covers like Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton and Stay With Me by Sam Smith, among others. He's got the voice for it. I'm curious to hear how the War Pigs is going to sound, because that's kind of a unique song vocally, because it's Ozzy, and everything Ozzy does is kind of unique sounding.
Yeah, well, and I mean, for a guy of his stature to go out of his way to do this, it's kind of, I mean, it is cool.
It's cool to give the nod to old Black Sabbath, like an artist of that renown.
Not just all of it that he's doing, because...
Yeah, I don't know. Journey, Black Sabbath.
I feel like that's a risk for him to take, and I feel like a lot of, your popular music of the time, they say it's risky, but, like their satanic panic over fucking
Sam Smith wearing a little.
They wore red on stage,
wearing a Halloween Express looking devil outfit, which is kind of dumb.
Yeah, so I don't know, but but yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's interesting. See this. He hasn't released a release date yet for this covers record, but
any singles?
No singles yet either. It's just
Okay.
just the announcement. But I am very curious to hear how some of these covers are going to sound. I'm going to listen to it. I do. I don't listen to a lot of pop R&B singers, but like I do enjoy some T-Pain. T-Pain is one of the good ones.
It is at least worth checking out, I'd say.
It's worth checking out. It's cool. Yeah. So like, look out for that On Top of the Covers record from T-Pain coming up sometime soon. After that, like, interesting, like, positive story, let's get into something that's real shitty, showing how shitty people can be sometimes, honestly, actually. At a architect show in Adelaide, Australia, a quote-unquote fan rushed the stage and got on the microphone to say to the audience and to the band that they should play more of their older songs because they're disrespecting their dead guitarist, Tom Searle, by playing mostly new songs. Their guitarist and one of their founding members, Tom Searle. Dan Searle is the drummer, who is the twin brother of the now sadly deceased Tom Searle, co-founded the band, and he died of cancer in 2016 at the age of 28. And that was the same time that Architects began their sound change to become more of an arena type band. A lot of Architects have been dealing with this hate a lot recently. Pretty much any fan of theirs that hasn't been on board with their more melodic and radio friendly sound change has been bringing up the name of their dead founding band member, like saying they're disrespecting him by going into this new direction. Which, how shitty can you be to bring up your dead friend?
I mean, they're also talking about a general fan base of people that created the "It Should Have Been Lars" T-shirt.
Yeah,
and which again, some of that shit in retrospect, we kind of laugh at and whatever because it's so ridiculous that whatever. But like when you're living it in the moment, it's like if the "It Should Have Been Lars" shirt came out the day after Cliff Burton died, then that's completely fucked. But like I think there was quite a bit of distance between the event and it was just kind of like a tongue-in-cheek. Like I don't know, like
that was back in like the
it's still not cool. It's still not
cool,
but at the same time I can see the humor in it a little bit. But this is like you're living it, and it goes back to what I was saying about In Flames a few episodes back, that they play their fucking old shit. Nobody gives a fuck. Like they're known for their new shit. So I mean,
it's what people are well known with.
So if you're not with it, they're not for you anymore, bro. Like don't get up on stage and shit.
It's something that you just kind of have to accept. People change, bands change, and it's the ironic part of this is that when he rushed the stage, they were about to play an old song from Tom Searle's era, a 2012 song.
Is there a video of this? Did he get his ass beat?
There's a little bit of video. I don't think he got his ass beat, but he did have security escort him out of the venue.
Security should have suplexed his ass.
They should have, because like anybody rushing the stage, like he could have been trying to do anything. So he could have been trying to stab somebody, could have been trying to like hurt one of the members. He went up and grabbed their guitarist Josh Middleton's microphone to say this. And like he was escorted out of the venue, and after about a 5-minute pause of them trying to reconvene and figure stuff out, frontman Sam Carter went on about a little bit of a rant talking about how shitty the guy was, and rightfully so, because he interrupted the show to once again invoke the name of their dead friend and bandmate to talk shit about what they're trying to do and bring to people now.
Yeah, fucking Wang Pheasant.
But the show,
that guy's a bigger asshole than I am.
Old MegaDave makes a return. But yeah, that was real shitty for the band. That was after this is the first show of their Australian tour after the band spent 40 hours traveling to Australia and tired as fuck to get to this show and venue. But hopefully they don't get too many more incidents like this, and they can just live their lives, play the music. If the fans are accepting of the new music, cool. The bands that don't like it, they don't have to listen to them. But yeah, just don't be shitty, people. Don't accept if bands change their sound, bands grow up.
Where did you
bands
say this
change.
was? Where did it happen?
Adelaide, Australia.
Crikey, you're an asshole.
Oh, that's real right. I sold that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, shove a Foster's up his ass.
Yeah, and that's the gist of what we know about Australia. That and the dangerous animals and wildlife.
Hey, Australia ain't seen me yet.
They haven't dealt with the Langley. Oh, man. I usually try to pace these sad stories out a little bit, but the next story is
David's turning 31 tomorrow.
31. Man, I'm 33. No, I'm 32. I'm 33.
I know, you're 1 year sadder.
Yeah. I'm older than you. Fuck.
I know, I'm the baby in the band. I look like I'm about to die tomorrow.
Yeah, my last band, I was the youngest member. In this band, I'm the oldest. Ugh. But yeah, this next story. Speaking of dead band members, Tim Amar, who was the vocalist of project of Chuck Schindler, Control Denied, has
Schindler. Got on me for saying Auschwitz.
Is it Scholdinger?
Yeah.
Okay, Chuck Scholdinger.
Yeah, let's say, God damn, Donte.
Tim, vocalist of his Chuck Scholdinger's band Control Denied, Tim Amar has died at the age of 59. Which is quite sad. This is the last project that Chuck Scholdinger was involved in, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Because it was briefly after Sound of Perseverance. I mean, it was I don't know the exact timeline. I think it came out 2000 or 2001,
somewhere around that.
And he was gone in 2001, 2002. So,
but
it's a good record. I haven't listened to it in a long time, just because I'm so partial to the death stuff. But it is a good album.
Yes, when I listened to the latest Metal Sucks podcast episode, they had a bit of anytime a figure in metal dies, they play a song of theirs on the show, and they played a song from Control Denied on it. I've listened to some Control Denied stuff off and on throughout the years, but the song that I heard on Metal Sucks podcast was quite good. It was a nice mixture. You could tell that it was Chuck Schuldiner guitar work, even though it was more melodic than what he's mostly known for.
He's super melodic as it is.
Yeah. And
especially that era, because Sound of Perseverance, the whole album's got a lot of melodic guitar work too. So it kind of almost seems like a progression thing, especially bringing in a melodic vocalist and doing that. But I don't know. Chuck Schuldiner is one of those ones that I'm always fucking bummed that I didn't get.
It's one of those ones you missed.
Yeah, I mean,
you were a little bit too. Yeah, you were
I was too young.
To get into it.
And what's funny is I didn't even really ever get into it, and then we had opened up for Nile, and I'm 18 or 17. No, I was 17 because it was in February. But it was my sister's birthday, or the day before my sister's birthday. I think February 13th.
One day we'll get to open up for big bands like Niles.
But it was a 7-band bill, whatever. But I got off stage and you got all these death metal dudes, and I mean, I wasn't super into death metal, really. I would still argue that I'm not, but I'm definitely a lot more versed in it.
Way
than
more
I
now
was.
than back then.
But yeah, I was a thrash kid. And then some dude just comes up to me and goes, "Man, you really sound like this dude." I was like,
Yeah, you've gotten that at least twice now, because you got.
I get it. I mean, if anybody compares me to anybody, it's always Chuck, because Stephen Jeffries in his reviews compares me to Chuck and stuff. And
now that I'm personally more well versed in Death's discography, you do have a.
I was say there's an era of Death I'm probably matched closer to, because he did evolve.
I think he kind of similar to the human,
human
individual thought patterns.
Human through symbolic was probably my wheelhouse. But I do really love singing along with Spirit Crusher and shit too. So, but it's in me to want to cover a death song. It's not Stormtoker material really, but
it's also
unless we just get
Stormtoker skill level.
Unless we get really froggy and just do one out,
I can maybe do some. What's that one?
I think you could doom the fucking Philosopher out, but
possible.
There's a lot of cool fretless bass shit that I feel like I'd be shitting on like by not doing.
We'll have Travis handle that part.
Yeah, right. Travis just Well, you know what?
Well, you just do vocals and we'll let Travis do it.
That's actually not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I don't want to necessarily give up my bass for anything, but
you have to like learn how to sing without someone in your hand.
It's fun. I've done it a few times when shit breaks. So it's not fun in that regard, but I've done it. But yeah, what the fuck was the dude's name? Because honestly, I would say I would have never known. I mean, I'd listened to Control Denied, but I never really looked into it. But yeah, rest in peace, man.
Besides Control Denied, at the time of his death, he was in a band called Pharaoh, and he's also performed in other projects such as 313, Triple X, and Psycho Scream.
No wonder none of those caught on.
Sorry,
now I'm shitting on the guy.
It's kind of rough. R.I.P. Tim Amar. He was a big part of Chuck. It's kind of sad to
as I say, he's the period at the end of the Chuck Schuldiner sentence as far as music career goes.
But it's kind of sad that and it's like Tim Amar's death has to be like you feel like you have to connect it to Chuck Schuldiner because like that's kind of like what he's known for.
I mean, your legacy's your legacy, and if it's tied with other people, it's tied with other people.
A lot of people like that Control Denied record and like his vocals on it, so that's a part of legacy that a lot more people have. Than most.
If you want to be Michael Jordan, don't be Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Yeah, Scottie Pippen got fucked. He got not fucked.
He didn't get fucked.
He got fucked on the contract.
He did get fucked with the contract, but like when he moved on, he had great teams and just never fucking. They ran into the buzzsaw that was the fucking Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah. But yeah, rest in peace, Tim Amar. Provided this wonderful record with Control Denied, and his part of that great legacy that is an extension of the Death catalog.
Yeah, I need to spin that soon.
Going into some touring news, Ghost, speaking of, announced their re-Imperator with direct support from Amon Amarth.
That'll be huge.
That'll definitely be huge. You gotta say, like, Ghost, as far as, like, giving a lot of, like, modern, heavier bands, like, a look in front of a big audience, they are doing their job of putting the ladder down for a lot of bands. Not that Amon Amarth necessarily needs a ladder, but for a mainstream audience, mainstream rock audience, they're getting in a lot of new faces.
I'll say, I mean, considering that I think the last time I saw Ghost was opening for Maiden. So, I mean, same thing. You know, you take a band that's that step below and bring them up.
And on their previous Imperator...
I mean, there's so many tiers to this thing. Yeah.
And on the previous Imperator, they had Mastodon and Spirit Box on tow with them as their openers, which are very heavy. Well, not Mastodon these days, most so much, but Spirit Box especially is an interesting choice to have as your opener, which... Really, like the style Ghost has and the popularity level they have, the bands that they tour with, they kind of like forced to choose like oddball choices for like bands to open.
Yeah, there's not a lot that is in the same vein, and especially not as big.
I'm really curious to see how. I need to go. I do want to see Ghost. For speaking of which, they have a date near us. In Cincinnati on August 16th at the PNC Pavilion, which is going to be hard to go to because you got the Gojira Mastodon show right before that.
Is that in August too?
Yeah, that's August 9th. And this is August 16th when Ghost is going to be in Cincy.
Yeah, and who's it with? You said Amon Amarth? Yeah, no
Amon
shit,
Amarth.
Sorry. Again, I'm still stoned. But,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to.
I really want to see Ghost.
Have you not seen them?
I've not seen them, and this new album of theirs is my favorite they've ever done.
See, I've seen them at Louder Life. Sorry, we're from Kentucky, so we talk shorthand on some of that shit.
It's one of the Danny Weimer festivals. People know it.
Yeah, well, I know, but Louder, like so somebody be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" Yeah. But and then the first time I saw them, which Deftones and Avenged Sevenfold.
You had to see them with Deftones.
Well, they were the reason I went. Ghost. Not Deftones.
I was like, what?
Like, because that was the second album I think had just come out.
The Infinitesimum?
Yeah.
And so that would have been around 2012 or so.
So, but that album had just come out, but they were still like the underground darlings. They
didn't get big
that broke. So, like, yeah, they weren't cool to hate on yet. And so everything I'd heard was overwhelmingly positive. I never really fucking gave them a chance. And I went. And well, the sure sign for me is when you go see a band live and then you go back to listen to the shit when you get home, and every song that you saw live is recognizable as soon as you put it on. And it doesn't actually happen all the time, especially in metal, because, there's just...
Metal doesn't focus on, like, melodic.
I've seen so many death metal bands, that, some of those songs, unless it has, like, a super distinct groove or something, like, you might be searching. But yeah, so, like, I went and... I guess I got hooked quick on them and then fell off a little bit. But but now I saw with Avenged Sevenfold and Deftones, and that's where my Deftones hate started. Because they were by far the most unpolished product on that show.
I keep hearing that, like, people that don't like Deftones is always Sheila's vocals.
Well, Change, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the House of Flies or whatever. Was flawless. The entire rest of the set, I did not give a fuck.
Sad. What about their heavy songs? Like, do they get those?
I mean, I don't know what any of them are off the top of my head, but nothing until they played this song. And the only reason I knew that song is because every fucking horny emo girl that I knew in high school fucking listened to it.
Diamond Eyes tour, which is a heavier record for them.
They listened to nothing but that song by them. So I don't know. I mean, I fucking may have known more Deftones then, but just that was the only song these fucking dumb bitches listened to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was that's getting us canceled, David.
No, well, it's Deftones. Fuck the See, and this is gonna have to happen one day where I'm gonna actually have to fucking listen to them and do this little goddamn podcast.
One day we're gonna do the top 5 Deftones.
Y'all just fucking check in on me because there might be fucking some suicide watch going on, but we'll see.
God. I can't wait.
No, it's gonna be terrible. But yeah, no, that's where the hate started. Because Avenged Sevenfold, who I fucking hated on vehemently at the time, played flawlessly, and it was awesome. They had a great stage
show. They are a quality live band.
They were fucking fantastic, and I still can't stand their records. I think they're produced shitty as fuck and in the most generic way possible. I feel like if you typed into a computer, like, hey, make me a fucking AI metal record, that's what fucking Avenged Sevenfold's record sounds like. But live, they fucking kill. And it was like Ghost was on the way up, Deftones was the meat in the sandwich, and it was a little fucking old and slimy and not good, and fucking...
That's spoiled, like potted ham.
Yeah, and then fucking Avenged Sevenfold was like a garlic toast top of the fucking sandwich, and it was delicious.
Both Deftones and Avenged Sevenfold were bands that you weren't overly fond of, but Avenged Sevenfold was...
And I only went because it was like a $25, and my sister and brother-in-law were like, hey, you want to just go up? I mean, there's like $20 tickets. And I was like, yeah, fuck. I mean, I ain't doing nothing. It's a concert. Because, I mean, I have gone to a few over the years where it's like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. We'll get into depth about my X-Fest experience one year.
But
Dayton, Ohio.
Ghost Re-Imperator. That is with Amon Amarth. Is one that you should check out.
That'll be dope.
It is starting August 2nd in Concord, California.
If you're on the fence at Ghost, go see them.
Do go see Ghost. They put on a great live show. It's starting August 2nd in Concord, California, and running all the way through September 11th in Los Angeles, which Amon Amarth is not on the LA date, but they're on all the other dates of the tour. Also, another big tour that's gotten announced, Emperor, black metal legend and like one of the early progenitors of the genre, is announced touring the U.S. for the first time in 15 years for a very short 5-date tour.
Black metal sucks.
Hey, Emperor,
metal sucks,
Emperor's
baby.
one of the good ones. Emperor's like widely considered the best of the classic black metal bands. And
I mean, I can't sit here and say I've tried, but
we're gonna have an Emperor album rank episode at one point. Although we do have to cover, we would have to talk about the fact that the drummer killed a gay guy at a park in a hate crime. That'd be something I have to talk about.
Well, we just talked about it. And you said we're going to get me canceled for saying dumb.
Hey, I'm just stating a fact. I'm not saying for or against anything. I'm against killing.
Well, you're just talking about how awesome Emperor is.
Emperor is an awesome band, but killing people in hate crimes and killing people in general bad.
Hey, them dumb bitches were awesome too. Honestly, who I'm referencing is probably my friends because that's who I was around. But I did not like a lot of their music taste. I was the anti what the chicks in high school were listening to.
Nope. Fuck Evanescence.
No AFI. God damn, AFI was all over the place.
Fuck AFI. Fuck.
Bring Me the Horizon was a big one at the time.
I mean, not that I had a lot of female fans, but
well, the ones I was around specifically, yeah. Ollie sucks.
Ali Sykes. I don't know why people think Ali Sykes is so hot. I don't get it.
Because women have terrible taste in men, Donte.
I was like, he's...
Especially the ones that like me.
Well, at least you're honest.
I mean, fuck.
Oh, man.
I look in the mirror every day.
But we got on a tangent. We're talking about Emperor here. Emperor's touring the U.S. for the first time in 15 years. This tour has been called the Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk tour, which is weird because there's no real specific anniversary for that record happening. They're just calling it Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk tour. They also had a separate tour in Europe for another record, Midnight Eclipse or whatever, their first debut record, which also doesn't have a weird anniversary attached to it. So maybe there's just announcing names of their most popular records to tours for whatever reason. And they're hitting 5 major cities in late June through July 1st, hitting like 2 cities in California, Anaheim, and somewhere else. I didn't write down exact dates, but it's 5 dates. But hey, they're in America. None of it's near here. Chicago is the closest date to here. I like Emperor, but not enough to travel up to Chicago again to go see them.
Not a 6-hour band. Not a lot of 6-hour bands, to be perfectly honest.
Pretty much like the only band these days I would travel 6 hours to go see is Rammstein, because they're a bucket list band for me.
I did go Jira.
That Jira's worth it.
And depending on a festival. Like, if it was a cool enough festival, maybe.
But yeah, that is it for all of the news that we have today. So now we have the, let's move on to the heavy music singles. All right, for the first single that we have to talk about is the first single from Cattle Decapitation's new record, Terrasite, coming out May 12th, and this track is called We Eat Our Young.
It is phenomenal.
It is a fucking banger. I got a Woody listening to this.
When a single makes you just binge a band in general, and like... Just for a note, I'm a licensed driver now, y'all. So
he's got his license, y'all. Congratulations to David.
One of the second CD I listened to, because I got my CD case out and had a CD player in my old junky ass van, was the Anthropocene Extinction. However you say it, but
that's how you say it. You said it right.
But a lot of it was because this fucking singles just got me all hyped up on my favorite extreme metal band. Like legitimately one of I keep saying one of my favorite extreme metal band. Like as far as any death metal or fucking anything considered more extreme, grindcore, whatever. Because I mean they got a little bit of all of it.
They're a death grind band.
They're so fucking good. And like this production, they don't have that like it's just. Death metal can be kind of on tones and stuff. Everything about what they do just sounds fucking phenomenal. And this isn't in the same vein of like the past 2 records, in my opinion. I think it's backed a little more like heavy and straightforward.
Kind of like the earlier stuff, like a Humanure or something.
Yeah,
it seems a little clean still for that.
I mean, he's still clean, but he doesn't really have like that. Because like every song on Anthropocene has the fucking like that chorus voice that he does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I don't know exactly how to explain it, but he doesn't do that in this song at all.
I'm sure that he eventually does it on some
I'm
tracks.
sure it will, but this track in particular just kind of takes me, like I said, not way back, but you know, it's just it's a more straightforward, heavy song than because like I said, Death Atlas, I mean, there's some atmosphere they've had on the past few records.
Yeah, they added
too.
a lot of atmosphere on Death
This
Atlas.
was just a straight fucking grooving ass.
It's just a grooving, heavy song. Like, when I first heard
death metal cock across the face.
Yeah, like, I remember I heard this, because, like, I guess I'd consider myself like a casual fan currently of Cattle Decapitation. We saw them live a year ago.
I still say I'm casual, too, because I'm not, like, going deep on their fucking discography.
I
but the shit that I love,
I do need to do a deep dive on their discography, which I'm sure eventually we'll do an episode on.
A lot of records, but some of them are super short.
Yeah, like one day we'll get to a Cattle Decap album ranking episode for sure.
That might be another one. It's tiresome, but
but Yeah, like I listened to Death Atlas all the way through. I know I did at least one listen through of Anthropocene Extinction at least once, like, but I think that was years ago. But I listened to all the Death Atlas, and that was a solid record, but it didn't grab me like super huge. I did enjoy like the title track and some other ones in that, but this song, I said, all right, let's check out what this.
You went to the show last year, didn't you?
I'm just.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay,
yeah.
But yeah, no, that fucking they sounded. They were the best, one of the best sounding bands at that venue.
Yeah.
That I've heard too.
We saw them at Manchester Music Hall here in Lexington, Kentucky,
which is kind of
which no shade against Manchester Music Hall, but the sound there can be shaky depending on the band. When I saw Hatebreed, they sounded great.
I didn't have a good time on stage as far as sound goes when we played there.
Yeah, like I don't know, everything sounded a little too echoey there.
Dude, I'd like scream and then like something screamed back at me like 3 seconds later. Like I was losing my spot sometimes because I was like, "Oh, what the
reverb
fuck?" Yeah.
echo was good because I could hear myself better than any other video I've been at, but it was overkill.
Doesn't help when you do a sound check and then they don't turn your fucking monitors on when you start the goddamn set.
Yeah, that didn't help. But this song.
Thank you for the show. We played in front of 400 people and it was a good time.
Thank you for like having us on opening for Atreyu. That was very nice. We appreciate that. But yeah, this song this. God,
fuck you. Thank you.
We're so like two-faced sounding.
Well, it's not, I mean, but it's legit. I mean, you're an artist. They want us there like 3 in the fucking afternoon and we do a sound check. You want the sound check to be worth something.
Yeah. But this first single from this upcoming Terracide album, We Are Young, this is something that you always like live for when like a band releases a first single from a new record you're looking forward to, because it's rare when you get a song that grabs you so completely that like makes you it builds that hype. Because usually for a metal band, whatever the first song is, it's usually just like a straightforward banger, heaviness, groovy. It's something that immediately grabs your attention. And We Eat Our Young grabs your attention from the get-go with the grooves, the outro that has the little refrain of the title of saying the title, We Eat Our Young. It's got great grooves, great blast beats, great every riffs all throughout the entire song.
Which I'm on Travis Ryan's Facebook, like back before they had the page thing. I actually got him added.
His personal Facebook.
Like I got him added as a friend before they did the weird digital creator bullshit.
Nice.
And so I saw the news, which I guess we didn't get to cover just because time or whatever, that the ass wank pheasant motherfucker that released their album art ahead of time, because they were about to do their hype for the album.
14-year-old from Russia.
Yeah, you fucking fuck. But with this song coming out and the album art being gnarly and awesome, I think their hype wagon is just fine. Bummed out that it didn't work out the way they wanted it to work out, but I don't think they have any fucking worries.
Yeah, I feel like everything I've seen about this song online has been positive. Like the fans are loving it. It's being reviewed like very well. I think it's already like doing well on the stream numbers for them as well. We Eat Our Young. I'm hype as fuck for this record. This might, if the rest of this album could sound half as good as this single, I think this could wind up being like one of my favorite albums of the year. By the time we get to the year's end.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I know this is the first single, but
their last few albums, the output's been so phenomenal that I don't expect anything less.
Yeah, this does have you legitimately hyped. Be on the lookout for the full album Terracite. Is going to be coming out on May 12th. The next single that we have on the list is from Linkin Park, the track with a lost track from the Meteora record, ironically titled Lost as well. It's the 20th anniversary this year of Linkin Park's sophomore album Meteora, which had humongous hits. Of course, Linkin Park is a humongous band, one of the biggest bands, not just in rock and metal, but in general, of the past like 20 to 30 years or so. And Meteora was like sold like 6 million albums or something back, like up to date now, possibly more. Might have even gotten 8 million or so, and had big tracks like Somewhere I Belong and freaking Breaking the Habit and some other stuff. And it's when I was in high school, before I got into Slipknot and heavier metal bands, Linkin Park was my favorite band of the time. First band I probably called a favorite band back in the day. Meteora is my favorite Linkin Park record. And this song sounds of course, it was recorded in the era, and it sounds exactly like something recorded in that Meteora period, where they had their like mixture of new metal and electronic and alternative metal elements at their peak. I say, has a wonderful chorus. It's number one on the UK like Billboard charts. I think it's really high on the American Billboard charts as well. And a lot of Linkin Park fans are very happy to have something from their prime era to enjoy for everybody. I'm loving this record, this song. David, what do you think about this thing? I'm not liking it. I'm worried.
Well, I was never a huge fan, and I hate like shitting on a band. It's just like, it's one thing if I like them and I can shit on them for the reasons I can shit on them, which, you know, whatever, like Megadave. But
Megadave. Yeah.
Man, I think the fucking band, and you would think I wouldn't like Chester, just what you know from my music taste or whatever.
Not the first choice of
Chester doesn't offend me at all, but like the music on this motherfucker sound like a shitty tech commercial. It's like fucking IBM, fucking, I don't know.
They were big into electronics and synths.
Well, and it's just the tones that they chose. I feel like I'm watching like a 2004 fucking computer commercial. I don't know.
The thing with Linkin Park is like they're probably the most influential band for this like modern wave of like bands going melodic and going for radio. Like pretty much all the buttcore and like post-hardcore like that's we have today is pretty much directly influenced by Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I think the problem is a lot of bands don't do it as well as Linkin Park did during this era, which there's a lot of bands that are trying to go for that big arena hook like quality, but they can't hit the same marks that Linkin Park did.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just never resonated with me whatsoever. So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and shit on them the entire time and, like, whatever. Because, to me, it's inoffensive. Like, it's not bad. I just, like I said, I never was on the wagon. And this song, when I listened to it earlier, I got about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through it. And I was like, yeah, there's nothing here for me. I mean, so there you go. I mean, I don't want to shit on them, like, whatever. I just don't want to outright shit on them. But for me personally, Linkin Park's never carried any weight.
To each their own. During this era when Linkin Park was at their peak, old David here was in the traditional metal circles, getting into his like Ozzy's and the thrash metal scene.
Well, and even then, when they first came out, so what year is
2000.
Meteora?
Well, Meteora is 2003, but Linkin Park first came around in 2000.
I mean, I'm literally kind of honestly discovering shit at that point, so I was honestly like into I mean, your older, your Motley Crues and the Ozzies and stuff, and then I broke off of that. Like I said, I mean, I different Dave timeline maybe, but the one I'm on just did not do nothing for me, and this song did not do anything to reinvigorate any amount of interest to go back and be like, hey, let me revisit this and see what I can find on it. I had a kid at work that is discovering some shit from that era, and he requested a couple Linkin Park songs too, and I put them on for him just to oblige. I made him wait.
Yeah. Which
I put
Linkin
him
Park's probably going to be an album ranking episode.
I put him like 8 to 10 songs in the playlist that I put on because I was like, I ain't gonna give it to you right away, fucker. But
wait, motherfucker.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, man, there's nothing wrong. I just tonality wise, and the band was. Like I said, that was my takeaway. It's like, yes, some tech company, some progressive tech company needed a jingle.
Given I have my gripes to Linkin Park as well, but thing is though, I feel like as much as I hate on fans that like hate when bands change sounds and like hate on it so much, Linkin Park's the one band for me when they change their sound that I'm one of those douchey fans like they're better on the early records and all that shit.
I mean, it's art. You got to be, you know.
Of course, they were like one of the few bands that I like got into.
Like me talking about the Cold Up, and you get people, they come and go, and you keep going, you know.
But this is part of their 20 year anniversary release for Meteora, and give the song a listen to. They also have a anime inspired music video for it as well. Similar, not quite as quality wise as Breaking the Habit from when I the clips I saw of it, but still interesting enough. Moving on to the next single, a band that we've talked about on this thing before and have gotten a lot of hate for.
I'll say this is probably our most popular clip so far.
Yes, our most popular, like since David's been on the podcast here with me, our most popular podcast excerpt that I've posted on the TikToks and the Instagram Reels and all that is when we were talking about Sleep Token, and old David here made an interesting comparison of Sleep Token to everybody's favorite popular band, Imagine Dragons.
Well, there's only one part in this song that goes there.
But this new Sleep Token song is titled Vor, which coincides with their announcement of a full album called Take Me Back to Eden, which just comes out May 19th. I said Eden, which is kind of funny considering the title of the track is Vor, which is, in case you didn't know, it's a, I know that it's about being like swallowed whole, but I don't know if it's exclusively a fetish or not. That's very popular on the internet.
So just point blank, are you any higher on them after this single?
No, I am not. Basically, the thing with this is like I already knew that Sleep Token had heavier tracks.
This is where my pet peeve conversation was going to kick in, and it's a problem with a lot of metal bands, and it's not just them, but like going back to Cattle Decapitation, just an extreme fucking example of it. Songwriting. Where does this song go?
Yeah, I feel like this is one that has like pieces.
It has 4 parts, but there's no movement to me. Like this is actually probably their most acceptable song to me. Like that
for me, it's their other heavy song of the new ones, The Summoning.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, yeah. When they go heavy, it's fine. But like where. And again, you don't have to have the classic song structure formula. It's just if you're going to do something that's supposed to move, and like to me, it's like the song should have been building to something, and it never goes anywhere to me. And there's so many bands that with a get away from like that traditional song structure or whatever, you know. Like, me and you have actually had this distinct moment one night. I was all fucked up and was like, listen to Stairway, listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, and listen to how they build.
Yeah.
None of the parts repeat. Nothing repeats. And to me, I mean, they might have a callback at the end or whatever, but like...
They have motifs.
Up,
yeah,
up,
that builds to like the climax.
And each fucking individual part is so iconic that, like... It could be a song in itself, you know what I mean? Yeah. And
Bohemian Rhapsody is like 3-4 songs on its own.
Obviously, comparing this to Bohemian Rhapsody or Stairway,
it's a little
that's
unfair.
Not the point of what I'm talking about. But the point of what I'm talking about is just if you're gonna do unique things with song structure and songwriting, something's got to be happening. And I just, like I said, I feel like that it was kind of directionless.
Yeah, like this song, along with The Summoning, which basically I like the. For example, in the Summoning song, in one of the early tracks they released in January, it has a wonderful groove riff to it, but they don't do anything interesting with it. They have a great hook to it that they have, but they have no other song writing, no like even vocal hooks really to build around it.
And again, I'm not shitting on just Sleep Token when I'm saying this, and I don't want to start naming a bunch of examples or whatever, but it is a problem with metal music, and you know, I know to a degree, like the metal fan does push that because I mean, like I said, Sleep Token is one of the biggest up and coming bands there is right now.
They're definitely the most hype band of this year for sure.
And they're just like another example where it's like, man, like maybe once they get down the road and they say fuck it and start writing songs, because like there's talent. I mean, they're good.
They got skills.
Like
Vessel is a quality singer.
I can't figure out what I don't like about it. But when I was listening to it, this was like, of all the things that we've listened to so far, like singles wise, the bands that are killer are fucking writing good songs, and they're usually, and like I said, Cattle Decapitation writes extreme fucking metal, but will have that classic song structure.
That's part of why Cattle Decapitation's gotten so big is because of their songs.
Obviously, you want to not necessarily beat the same horse all the time or whatever, but if you have a song or two here and there that strays off this path, but like I said, it's just, if you're gonna do something that's outside that traditional song structure, take me on a journey. And I don't feel like I felt like I was in a stalled car. I don't know.
And another issue I have, like production wise, with the song is that anytime that Sleep Token, I don't know, I can't speak for the earlier records, for their heavy tracks. But at least with this track, Vor, and as well with the Summoning, anytime they go into a heavier song, the vocals seem like they get dropped in the mix a lot. Like anytime that Vessel has screaming vocals, the screams seem to go in the background. Kind of like they're trying to court mainstream very much so with these new singles, especially with this viral marketing style they have with dropping 4 singles in a row in January. But they want to still be a heavy band occasionally, but they don't want to commit to one or the other. So anytime they do have screams, anytime they do have heavy riffs, they kind of put the vocal screaming part, which is the most like divisive part of any heavy song for a mainstream audience. They put it in the background, so it kind of, when they want to go heavy, it lessens the impact of that that instrumental element.
Aesthetically, I didn't mind how the screamy vocals sounded, but I see what you're saying. But that creative decision didn't bother me. Like I said, it was just the overall, overall
like that,
art.
You could get away with that if the song structure was a lot stronger.
I would say, because I feel like the Atlas Moth kind of, who is a band I do like, kind of has like this weird thing too, like where their like vocals kind of sit further back than other bands, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and just fucking beat. All the elements of a good band are in this band. Like I feel like I want to like them more than I do, because again, I want to grow past just hating anything that has a hype train. I want to.
Sleep Token, I feel like they have all the elements to make me love this band.
I have given them more chances than 90% of bands I fucking hate. I promise you all that. And I still don't want to say I hate them.
Also, this podcast is kind of forcing them to listen to them.
Like I said, I don't want to say I hate them. Well, no, because I mean, even then, like I went down a rabbit hole a couple times, when I was talking with the very attractive people sending me the tunes. And I didn't hate it first time I listened to it. But the more I go, I'm just like, where's it going? Because like I said, I just feel like a lot of the songs they're not traditional song structures, and they don't take me on a journey. Yeah,
I'm personally hoping that whenever the full album we have a date when the full album gets released,
maybe the overarching.
Yeah, because the type of band they are with their whole kind of narrative they have going with the songs and the atmosphere they try to build. Maybe when you have all these songs back to back in the order that they want it to. On the sequencing of the record, maybe because there's oftentimes this does happen a lot where I don't understand or get into the songs as singles, but when you listen to the album as a collective work, it winds up being way more enjoyable and understandable when you have it all together.
I'm not highly optimistic of that, but
we shall see. I need to go back and listen to the first 2 Sleep Token records. It'll give them an honest listen to try to compare and see if they have that same thing as well. Where if you listen to the album as a whole, it's more enjoyable than just listen to these individual songs.
But the people that are hyping them up are hyping up these singles too.
They are hyping up the individual singles a lot.
I've seen the summoning from every attractive female that I know, and I'm just yeah.
Yeah, this one hopefully we're personally we're not super into Sleep Token quite yet, but we are rooting for them to wow us. We want them to wow us.
I will say I don't want to hate anything.
I'm a fan of any heavier or any band with live guitars getting it high mainstream attention. We need more of that.
Yeah,
we need that a lot. Because music, especially metal music, is the only thing where trickle down economics actually works. And and the more big bands we have with guitars, loud guitars in the mainstream, the better. Because it just helps everyone else out in the scene, including us as well.
100%.
So
I'm always an advocate, even though Machine Gun Kelly's bitch ass when I did the interview with WRFL, it's hey, if he's making a guitar relevant to a mainstream audience, that I wouldn't, whatever. But if that's how they discover guitar, they got a trillion guitar players after that are better that can hopefully inspire them in some way, shape, or form. Yes. If MGK is the bridge. So be it. Unfortunately.
But yeah, Sleep Token, new single Vor from the upcoming album Take Me Back to Eden, out May 19th. Next single is one I've personally been looking forward to a lot. This is the new song from Frozen Soul titled Morbid Effigy, featuring John Gallagher, frontman of Dying Fetus. This is going to be on their upcoming Glacial Domination album. It's also out May 19th, same day as Sleep Token there. And this is also the first taste we get of Matt Heafy of Trivium's production on this new Frozen Soul record. I personally like this track a lot. They lean more, it might be because John Gallagher is a guest on this track, but they lean more into the slammy tendencies that Frozen Soul has. Frozen Soul usually has more of a bolt thrower sound with that like kind of raw, old school, groovy death metal sound, but this one's really chuggy and slammy. And I remember I first heard this on the way back from Chicago when I was listening to it. And I was like, yes, give me the caveman chugs.
Yeah,
man, I like it a lot.
Unfortunately, I only got one listen on it, but I was enjoying it. I definitely gonna go back to it. It was definitely as far as this batch of songs that we're talking about. I mean, obviously, there's a clear winner, but
yes,
we always talk about our favorites at the end.
I think we have the same favorite.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, we have to, because if we don't, I'll have to have a conversation. But yeah, I mean, kind of sort of like Sanguis Sukabug, like. Nothing that's going to sit there and be like...
They're basically like... Frozen Soul and Sanguis Sukabog are kind of like the 1-2 punch as like the new leaders of this new wave of American death metal.
They're good. It is, like I said, the natural sounding production that
I will say like this production sounds a little bit cleaner than what came out on their album, their first debut album, Encased in Ice. I'm assuming that's possibly Matt Heafy's doing, because like everything Matt Heafy's done, even his black metal project Ibaraki, had very clean, pristine production on it. And I assume like that was possibly a thing that could happen. The kicks are cleaner, the guitar work, even the vocals are way more understandable than they were on their previous record. But it still has a lot of that power that they're known for. It's not quite a detriment. It might be a bit of an issue for some fans that like need that raw, old school style death metal production.
But cleaner can be heavier. Like, yeah, that's like you. I mean, fuck, when Gojira was using Telecasters, man. Like and for whatever reason, tonality wise, it worked like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
I feel like cleanness works really well when you go into like techie styles. Like I remember people were hating on the last Suffocation record for being a little too clean sounding, but I enjoyed it because it's something technical you could hear all the notes.
Yeah,
and it gives it more impact.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It depends how clean you get, and yada yada. When I listen to it, and I'm not super familiar with the band, I mean, I've heard shit here and there from you, and like I said, just a little bit.
I like their whole
ice
and frozen gimmick.
I wanted to give more to this. Like I said, I listened to it getting ready for work today, and I remember just being like, "Fuck yeah!" So I mean, can't give you a super in depth on it, but it was good. It was really good.
I do like this a lot, and I'm hyped to hear more coming out of Frozen Soul. This was a pretty strong track. It has me excited for hearing more from this Glacial Domination record. And it sucks that you missed that date when Sanguis Sukabog and Frozen Soul both came through here.
For Lantern?
Yeah, Lantern.
Yeah, I don't even remember why I missed it.
That show was awesome. Like that made me fall in love with both those bands way more when I saw them together at that show. But they'll be through here again. They've toured through here a lot. They came through with Napalm Death and Louisville as well.
I'll see them eventually.
But yeah, like that is another May album. Seems like May is going to be a very stacked month for releases, which it always is because it's right before festival
summer
season.
Yeah.
But yeah, their Glacial Domination album will be out May 19th. Next on this one is...
do we even have to talk about this one?
Pretty much because Jonathan Davis is on it.
It was so bad.
One. Yeah, like this is from...
I turned this one off. And I've not turned anything off. There's one I didn't even listen to here coming up. Just because but I will go back and listen to it after what you said. We'll talk about it once we get to it. But yeah, now this one when it came on after.
Well, first let me say
you do give us a playlist, so I listened to it in the order that we're talking.
Yes.
So after Cattle Decapitation, after Sleep Token, which I knew what to expect, after Frozen Soul and the epic, super awesome, heavy death metal shit, this piece of shit came on.
I still haven't said the name of it. This is the new song from Kim Dracula with the track 70 Thorns, which features Korn's Jonathan Davis singing the chorus on this one. It's part of a yet upcoming unnamed album, but this will be the first full-length album for Kim Dracula. Before this, I've only released singles so far. I don't know if Kim Dracula is the name of just the lead person of the band, or if it's like the name of the whole band in general. Also, I'm not sure like what their gender identity is because they say they and everything. So like, I'm also not sure of that. So I'm just gonna stick with they to be safe. This song,
I'm sticking with giving this 2 corn cobs down.
70 Thorns.
I ain't even putting butter on this bitch.
It seems like what Kim Dracula's shtick is, as far as musically with their music, is that they try to jam pack as many musical genres into one song as they can for every single song that they do. I've listened to little bits of like other songs they have. It's all similar-ish stuff to this. They mix together electronica, dubstep, alternative metal, like hip hop, trap, pretty much every modern popular music genre there is. They try to stick. It's cool to have all those different influences and try to mix it together, but they're mixing it into separate sections of a song and trying to make it all cohesive, and they are failing miserably at doing that. And this song, the only thing that saves it is Jonathan Davis' chorus, which just sounds like another Korn song, honestly. Has like the gothic tinged Korn vibe to it. But it starts off with like this weird power metal howl for the
I
intro.
got excited.
Which,
I was walking through the house when it came on, and I heard it. I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And then the next part started, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is like nothing. I had nothing for it."
yeah, like I thought it was like, okay, that power metal howl's a little bit off, but we'll keep trying. And then it goes to this like trap beat rapping thing.
And then it was like corn scat. Yeah, I don't know.
It just had to go into this like kind of like scat, like screamed rap thing, and then like the relief in the song from all the other cacophony of craziness is Jonathan Davis's hook that he sings on it. But beyond
I didn't get that far. I don't think I got that far. I was like, what the fuck is this?
But beyond that,
because I know I've never heard of anything about the.
I've never heard of Kim. This is going to be on their first full length album. But it's got their Spotify page has 1.2 million.
If I make a terrible band, I'll call it Count Possible.
Count Possible. But yeah, neither one of us are fans of the 70 Thorns. I knew David wasn't going to be a fan of this thing. He might have thought I was going to like it. I don't like it either.
Well, I didn't really have much thoughts other than next.
Yeah.
So
not a fan so far. Maybe in the future.
Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Unless Kim Dracula comes out with something that's like really awesome, probably not going to talk about them on this podcast again because his song was not that great.
Can't wait for the Dave Mustaine fucking cameo.
Oh, God. Who knows? It could happen. Yeah, let's go on to some good shit. The next song is a collaboration between Lamb of God and Creator for a song called State of Unrest.
And if you think about Lamb of God and you think about Creator, pretty much just sounds like what a crossover song would sound like.
Yeah.
So if you like both of them.
This is in promotion of their upcoming State of Unrest tour, which originally that tour, tour was originally announced in 2020. And it was supposed to be a tour alongside with Lamb of God, Creator, and opening Power Trip was supposed to be the opener for this.
Such a fucking banger.
It would have been. But sadly, frontman of Power Trip, Riley Gale, passed away in 2020. And he was supposed to do the vocal on his track. It was supposed to be a collaboration because it was going to be Millie Petroza from Creator, Mark Morton of Lamb of God, who originally started this track as far as the writing process of it, and Riley Gale was going to do the vocal. With Riley Gale's passing, that didn't happen, and they got Randy Blythe to do a co-lead vocal with Millie Petroza. And
which is cool. They've been doing stuff with the classic thrash band because they did the Wake Up Dead cover with MegaDave, and that was good too.
Yes. But with this tour finally happening, in Riley Gale's memory, all the proceeds from the single are going to the Dallas Hope Charities. And the Dallas Hope Charities provide shelter to LGBTQ youth, which is a cause that Riley Gale is very supportive and fond of. Power Trip was meant to be the original opener of the tour, and Riley Gale was meant to sing the vocal for it. And it's kind of cool that they still going along with this tour as well as donating the proceeds to charity.
Especially the bigger bands doing it in honor of a smaller
yes,
act.
because Power Trip was like been huge on the rise.
They were that hype train I could get behind.
Yes, they were like basically like this whole stream of bands like that we got now with bands like
Punch Your Grandmammy to fucking some Power Trip.
They kind of like this is like a second thrash revival essentially that Power Trip has been like was kind of spearheading.
Yeah.
Now we got bands like friggin' the band that did Death Western. That I talked about in the previous episode.
Spirit Adrift? Spirit World? No.
Spirit World. Yes.
Yeah.
Spirit World, like, is
Quit
part
using
of this.
Spirit in your band names.
Yeah, we're going to, like, cancel Spirit. Say we're canceling Witch for Doom bands.
Yeah, Seasonal Witch peaked it.
Yes. But yeah, like this. Yeah, but they kind of kicked off this crossover thrash, like a heavier, darker crossover thrash revival with bands like Spirit World and Plague Years. And also Enforced as well, all doing this kind of like heavier brand of crossover thrash that's not party thrash like Municipal Waste did back in the early 2000s.
Man, if you're in a band, sorry, but like whoever came first, whether it's I'm pretty sure Enforced came first, but like you're like, hey, let's call our band Enforcer. Which, you know, they're the fucking naming a band such a goddamn crapshoot.
It is hard. Everything's taken already. Ghost had to have a lawsuit to get that name Ghost because, like, of course,
and then they lost it for a second, and then they got it back.
Yeah, it was Ghost BC for a while. Now it's just Ghost. But yeah, like it's cool. Like they're donating the proceeds to charity for the song itself. It took me a couple of listens to really get into it, but it is an enjoyable song. It's got that Lamb of God bounce to it, with like the thrashy edge that Creator provides, and the back and forth vocal.
Creator has that bounce too sometimes. So I mean, it like I said, stylistically, that's what I was saying. If you're thinking of what a Creator Lamb of God mashup song sounds like in 2023, pretty much sounds just like it.
And Lamb of God and Creator, like they both like Randy Bly and Millie Petroza, both quality vocalists. And having a little back and forth between them is a nice little element.
That was something that kind of surprised me. Is like how quick they fucking like go into that. Like, because most collaborations, it's like, oh yeah, you wait around for the chorus to come around, and somebody. The fact that they just came out the gate going back and forth was cool. It was. I
think that like with Millie and Randy Bly being like stylistically similar vocalists, it kind of works that they had like their back and forth going.
Yeah, no, so. like I said, a creative choice that makes it that much more interesting.
Yes.
That wasn't as close as it usually is.
Yeah. But yeah, this.
So we're 5 for 5 on tripping stories, and we're pretty much 5 for 5 on
almost dropping the audio interface.
Yeah. So one day there will not be a tripping story, and one day the audio interface will be just safe.
Whenever we get to like, if we can upgrade to a bigger table. I have a table in my dining room, but I also don't want to annoy all my roommates with our conversation.
I'm sure they're already annoyed.
Oh, yeah, they'll live. I've had to hear my roommate fucking before. It's okay.
Does it sound like it's good?
There was a lot of spanking and slapping, and yeah.
There you go.
And then I had to like look the guy she was fucking in the eye. I was like, "Hey, I heard you like beating them cheeks real good, guy." This is cool.
Beating the cheeks real good, guy. He gave a thumbs up, just by the way, when he said that.
But one more track that just released today that I had to talk about. David didn't listen to it because it is from Attila and the single new song called Handshakes with Snakes.
Terrible fucking song, man.
It is a sub 2-minute song, so it's like straight, short, and to the point.
I didn't have no investment. God damn it.
Yeah, it's straight to the point. It has like basically like Attila Franz said in a recent post, I think it was on Instagram or something, where he said that they're done trying to be edgy just to piss people off. They're past that now. It's just going to be like making songs that they just want to write and want to make. And they've had some like interesting creative paths that they've done on some of their recent work they've done. This song, Handshakes with Snakes, though, is like kind of like straight to the point. It's a nice heavy banger. And it doesn't overstay its welcome with its 1 minute, 57 second or so runtime that it has. It's got some nice chuggy metalcore riffs. Franz is a better vocalist than a lot of people give him credit for. He does some interesting, he has a bit of like a rap flow with some of his screams, which is like done in a pretty distinctive way. And he kind of goes back and forth between like straight up screams and like this rapping vocal that he has, and it's actually quite a quality song. I have to say, like I enjoyed this track a lot. I actually added it to the playlist. Attila's very hit and miss with me on like adding songs to a playlist with them. I saw them live once, and that endeared me to them a lot more than they did previously. Because I went to go see Suicide Silence because I saw Attila because Suicide Silence was a direct support on a tour they were doing, along with some other big bands that I wanted to see, like Rings of Saturn, and they had who else was on that? Volumes was on it as well. Attila was the band that I just didn't give a fuck about. They were just a headliner, but I stayed, watched Attila. I was like, oh,
he's they headlined over Suicide Silence.
Yeah, Suicide Silence. This was like before this was like right after the self-titled record that everybody shot on for Suicide Silence.
So on a downswing.
Yeah. Okay. It's sort of bad because like Suicide Silence was on a downswing while Attila was on an upswing as well.
Okay. I can understand that.
Yeah, which I remember when I saw that what the lineup was.
I never equated Attila as that big, but
they are quite the big band now. They are having like 800,000 monthly Spotify listeners or something like that.
Well, maybe I'll give this minute 57 song a chance
it's
later.
2 minutes of your life that you'll live.
If I realized it was that short, I would have probably gave it a shot. But I never a band that excited me.
Yeah, Attila's a band that doesn't excite a lot.
At least with the Linkin Park, it was like, yeah, there's some legacy here. So even though
Attila's been around for a while.
Even though I didn't figure I'd like it, I tried. Yeah, Attila, I just don't.
Attila's been around for almost 20 years at this point.
Well, okay. Nothing there.
Yes.
Not for me. Not yet. We'll see. Like I said, I'll jam that one just because. 2 minutes.
Attila, Handshakes with Snakes, it's surprisingly good. To me, anyway. Like, make your own opinions.
Is that about jerking dicks?
No, it's not about jerking dicks. They said no more edgy, dumb. Well, they might do dumb lyrics, but no more like edgy, piss off people.
Well, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Maybe they're sneaking it in. They're saying that. They're like, well, let's beat dicks.
Well, we shall see. They did do a song about pizza like 2 years ago, which actually is a pretty solid
who the fuck wouldn't?
But yeah, that's it for the singles. So let's talk about some of the recent album releases that have come out since the last time we talked about album releases. There was a lot of interesting stuff that came out today on this Friday, but there was some stuff we missed from previous weeks that I will quickly glaze over.
So yeah, I was going to say, what's our timestamp right now?
We're over the 2 hour mark. Right
okay,
now.
Yeah, definitely speed through these if we're doing a fucking In Flames review.
Oh yeah, fuck, we do got a whole In Flames review. You'll like this episode. This episode's been entertaining. So
yeah, let's speed run these.
Let's speed run these. Okay, so some of the big ones that came out in recent weeks. Of course, there was a new album from Paramore that came out. This is why it's a fucking awesome record. It's one of my favorites of the month for sure. Give that one a listen. Paramore, quality band.
I have nothing for it.
Pierce the Veil released their album, The Jaws of Life.
Yeah, we could definitely speedrun these.
Yeah, Pierce the Veil, I listened to that record, has a very strong first 4 or 5 songs, and then it just falls off a cliff. Hard. Like, Pierce the Veil is one of those bands because they have the whiny voice singer, and they were big in the emo scene core thing in the late 2000s. They're a better band instrumentally than I thought they would. They have some heavy tracks. They're pretty good, but this new one goes in kind of like an alternative rock grunge direction. And it has a strong couple songs in the first part of it, and then it just gets shitty and boring.
Next.
Yes. Next, we have Delane coming back with a whole new lineup outside of the keyboards.
They're still around?
They are still around. Their last album that came out in 2020, I believe it was, which is called Apocalypse and Chill.
They have the...
Ironically. Charlotte Wessels was their singer back then.
They have the chick singer?
Yes. They're a symphonic metal band from the Netherlands, I believe it is. They have a whole new lineup, a new singer. The only original member left is the keyboardist.
I was going to say, saddest point I got is I just remember her from the Hottest Chicks in Metal editions
Jesus
of
Christ.
Revolver.
Of course, Revolver.
They participated willingly, so I mean, whatever.
Hey, good press.
Hey, good press. I was going to say, it was covering women that didn't necessarily get coverage.
Yes. But yeah, like Delane released their album Dark Waters, which I listened to at least once. It was solid from what I remember, but not the greatest thing in the world. It was pretty alright. We also have Avatar released their album Dance Devil Dance.
Yeah, still haven't gave it a listen.
I listened to that on the way back from Chicago, and this is it's a huge step up from their previous record. it's on par with their album Avatar Country, which came out like 2016 or 17. It's got a lot of they said this is like the most fun they've had writing a record in a long time since they first started writing music together, and it shows because they have a lot of fun with the songs on this thing. I enjoyed it a lot. They did a really good job with this thing.
There's enough there that I should check it out.
It's definitely worth a check out.
From what I heard, because like I said, we talked about the singles.
Yes,
and I did have some things. I'm not
sure if you'll love this whole thing, but I think you'll like appreciate it like well enough.
I think I'd like it well enough too. There's
an album from one-man Scottish black metal project Hellripper called Warlocks, Grim, and Withered Hags.
All right, is that all Or are we just telling people that it exists?
I don't know. It's a pretty solid record. It's pretty interesting. It's like black and thrash stuff.
One-man bands,
Hey, this is a good one-man band now. They got like almost 100,000 monthly Spotify listeners on there, so they got a lot of popularity, and they're really good. It's like a Skeleton Witch-ish
Yeah,
type.
but how many Spotify listeners does Sleep Token have?
Like 1.2 million or so.
Well, see, and I don't give a fuck.
Hey, you like a lot of bands that are in that 100,000
I know.
range.
I'm just giving you shit.
But yeah, like Hellripper, actually, like I listened to it once through. Ripping ass tracks if you like some black and thrash shit.
It better be the ripping in the name. Hit Ripper in the name.
We got.
How many more?
We got a couple more. I'm gonna bless you. We have the new album releases that came out today. That's the older ones. This is all stuff that came out today. Of course, you have the new album from Steel Panther titled "On the Prowl."
Yeah, we had a group chat discussion about this.
Yes, I listened to it once through today. There's some quality tracks in there, like the first track was like "Staying Up," like "Never Too Late to Get Some Pussy" or something was the first song, and have some other. The first half of that album is fucking stellar.
For a band I wore the fuck out and pretty much was wearing everybody I could out on them. The last couple albums, I'm just like, all right, the gimmick.
I still sing 17 Girls in a Row every now and again.
Yeah, no, those first three albums are really good. But I just think, the gimmick to me, and this, like I said, Lexi Fox. I ain't got no more hair guitar or hair bass solos or whatever.
Well, you do got Satchel riffs, and that's keeping that band
worth
alive.
listening to for that alone if you're not familiar with Steel Panther. But if you've been along for the journey, it's long in the tooth.
We also have a new album from Insomnium, progressive metal band, with their album Anno 1696. I didn't get a full listen to that, but listened to like the first 3 or 4 tracks. So good stuff. If you're like Insomnium, you'll probably like this album, possibly.
All right, next.
Just
because we got to speed through here.
Yes. Godsmack, with their final album they say they're releasing called Lighting Up the Sky. I made it 4 songs deep and cut that shit off. And I like Godsmack, and I didn't like these last 2 records. They changed their sound to be a more melodic band. I liked them a lot better when they were doing caveman, blue collar bullshit like Crying Like a Bitch. It was way better when they were ignorant. Way better. They have Dope, whose frontman is the new frontman for Static X's Zero, which they still won't say it is, but everybody knows it is. The Dope has a new album called Blood Money Part 0.
God damn, I had a Dope CD once.
I listened to the first song on the record. Surprisingly good.
I mean, they're not
for what it is. If you like that style,
it's white trash bullshit, but it's not bad.
It's white trash alternative metal that's surprisingly enjoyable still. Like he's got skills writing this stuff. I'm
thinking that one of their songs was on True Crime Streets of LA.
Probably. That sounds like it'd be on there.
There were a few bands on that soundtrack that I got into because of the era and time and video games were influential musically. But
that is a big reason why I got into a lot of metal was video games in that era.
Okay, so what's next?
Getting some more underground stuff now. We have Big Brave with their album Nature Morte. Big Brave is a kind of like post-metal doomy type of band.
Are they a bunch of pissed off Indians?
No.
God damn it.
Big Brave, there's some form of Europeans. Post-metal, proggy-ish stuff, like very doom atmospheric stuff. Female vocalist, who's also the drummer, I think.
That's cool.
I always confuse this band with that one Belgian band with the female drummer singer, whose name escapes me.
I was going to say...
Yeah. But Big Brave, I haven't got a chance to listen to this one yet, but their last album, Big Brave, had was excellent. Highly recommend you checking this out if you like anything in the post-metal category. Viking metal, Heidvolk, with their new album Wordurkir on Napalm Records. Listen to the first 2 songs of that. Quality Viking metal stuff. Got nice heaviness with a little bit of folksiness in there. Definitely worth your time. Omega Infinity with their album The Anti-Current out on Season of Mist Records. This is some industrial black metal stuff. Listen to a track of it. It sounded pretty alright. I didn't listen to the full thing though, so it might get worse after that. No promises. And we have, I don't even know how to pronounce this shit. It is hip. It looks like it's trying to say Hypnos, but there's, instead of an S, there's a 5. The band name?
Hypno 5. I don't know.
Hypno 5E with their album Shoal. This is out on Pelagic Records, the record label of the Ocean Collective, which is specializes in proggy, atmospheric bands of the rock and metal variety. Have an album from a band from the Ukraine, an all-female hardcore outfit called Death Pill with a self-titled record out on New Heavy Sounds Records. Listen to a few songs of this. This is some nice, angry, Riot Girl-esque punk and hardcore going on. I'm actually excited to check out the rest of that because the first little bits I heard, good shit. Only 700 or so monthly Spotify listeners, but it sounded pretty good, I have to say. Dark Embrace with their album.
Goddamn, how many albums are there?
There was a lot that came out today when I was browsing through.
Okay, today that we ain't fucking checked out. How many more are there?
4.
Rapid fire.
All right, we got Dark Embrace, the dark heavy metal. That is some like gothic-y, classic traditional metal stuff. Sounded pretty good. Out on Massacre Records. Body Farm with Ultimate Abomination on Edge Circle. Kind of like some very atmospheric death metal material. A band that's been around for a good while, but never really got a whole lot of renown, as far as I know. Megaton Sword with the album Might and Power on Dying Victim Records. Classic heavy metal. I'm assuming it was going to be power metal with the name like Megaton Sword.
Yeah, I would say.
But it's more of a classic traditional metal thing, more so than power metal. Yeah. It's splitting hairs. It's not like big power metal shit, but it's okay. No Spill Blood with their album Eye of Night on Svart Records. That
at this point, you could be making shit up, and I'd be like, uh-huh.
On Dookie Records. That's the joke. No Spill Blood. They're kind of like an industrial metal type of thing, which is like, all right. And Sienna Root, I told y'all about this before.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance, but I will check her out.
Call their style dynamic roots rock. They're from Sweden, which Sweden specializes in a lot of quality stoner rock, I've noticed. Stoner, roots rock, folk rock, things of that nature, as well as a whole lot of other styles, but they have a big specialization in that. With their album Revelation out on Atomic Fire Records. They are a bigger band. They got 40,000 monthly listeners and pretty quality sounding stuff on her. I called them a harder Allman Brothers, which is, I'd say that's a pretty good description in my eyes.
None of them are bigger than me, Donte.
And old MegaDave makes his reappearance.
He never goes away.
But that is all the releases. We sped through that.
Quickly. Sorry. We're just getting long in the tooth here.
We give enough time to the very important records that we have.
So let's say, and we're at what?
We are at 2:13.
God damn. Well, let's spend the last
you can spend this
15 minutes or so
talking about the new album from In Flames titled Foregone. But before that, I'm going to take a piss. All right, so we're talking about...
Hey, fuck you. It's officially my birthday.
Yes, it is. Happy birthday, Mr. David Andrew.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for us to come back on to just throw it out there.
You are officially 31 years old. We're recording this.
I'll be at 31 at 8:09 p.m.
8:09 p.m. I
got a minute.
I don't know what time of day. I know it was born at night.
I just looked at my birth certificate because I went and got my license.
So you're not 31 yet, goddamn.
I know, but it is the day.
It is the day of. It is February
the day of
25th.
Your musical Christ. It is here.
The musical Christ.
And also, happy birthday to
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair's birthday.
Of course, you would share a birthday with Flair. You know who I share a birthday with?
Hitler? No, I'm just kidding. No,
close. Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, yeah.
God. But I do also share a birthday with King Diamond, so yeah.
The longest tenured Tennessee Titans coach of all time, Jeff Fisher. So that's weird, but yeah.
Tennessee Titans coach I know
besides and George Harrison, the Beatles.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so I got a few good ones.
Bury the lead there.
And, well, I mean, we talked about it before, but Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power.
In the album, yes.
The day I was born.
Also, my birthday's on Flag Day.
My mama agrees.
It is on
I was a vulgar display of power.
Vulgar display of pussy destruction.
Don't talk about my mama like that. All right, In Flames.
We're getting off topic. Okay. New album from In Flames. I believe this is their 15th record, titled Foregone. There's been a lot of buzz about this record because a lot of people have been saying this is the best In Flame record in years. Of course, like in case you have known, like In Flames is one of the most influential bands really in metal history. They're responsible for partially responsible for the birth of the melodic death metal musical genre and part of the Gothenburg metal scene, which birthed bands such as In Flames, At the Gates, Dark Tranquillity, and many others who are highly influential in the world of metal for bringing a melodic edge to the extreme
I would say any of your
sound.
melodic metalcore stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was getting to that. As well as the whole American melodic metalcore scene influencing bands like Trivium, Killswitch Engage, Azalea Dying,
Lexington's Own Society's Plague.
Lexington's Own Society's Plague, fucking, you name a band, a metalcore band in the early 2000s, Bleeding Through, just so many bands. In Flames is an influence on them. God forbid, and all those bands.
Yeah.
They are all ripping off In Flames and At the Gates, pretty much. More, I feel like especially In Flames, because they kind of had that like a melodic edge that like more of the melodic metalcore bands of that early 2000s era were aping. And of course, they had like their early records that were really popular, like Colony and The Gesture Race, but they really broke through with 2000's Clayman, which was a huge breakthrough record for them, which was also followed by records like Reroute to Remain,
Soundtrack to Your Escape.
Soundtrack to Your Escape,
Come Clarity.
and Come Clarity was considered by many to be the last universally accepted as the last universally great In Flames record. But even some were jumping off already at this point because of the melodic tendencies of the band.
Well, and as I've alluded to on prior episodes, like the jumping off point for everybody's kind of different.
Yeah.
Because I would say that mine was Sounds of a Playground Fading. Because I really loved A Sense of Purpose. And like I said, I like Come Clarity. But I also like had heard of people talking about Soundtrack to Your Escape that way. So like it was like a 4-album almost progression of like,
I was like people just falling
different
off
people jumping off, and it's just like I think the jumping off the wagon pretty much was, I would say, Sounds of the Playground Fading is the latest there. I mean, some other people may have stuck around a little longer, but I feel like the fans that they had from that point on were with what they were doing.
Yes.
And,
they're also gaining new fans simultaneously with this new.
But fuck, A Sense of Purpose was what, 2008?
Yes.
So a band that I legitimately love as a kid, I put them in my top 5 at the time. Like there was actually a MySpace, just by the way. I had a top 5 favorite bands on MySpace, and I think it was Gojira, Amon Amarth, In Flames, Alice in Chains, and like I said, it's me trying to remember MySpace, so sorry. But I remember 4 of the 5.
This was it was high school for me, so this is like early.
Who would I put
middle
at
school
the time?
for you.
Because it was bands of the era that I was putting on that list. I mean, not of the era, because I mean, I put
Shadows Fall?
I put Alice in Chains up there. I mean, fuck, I might have been doing Ozzy or something still too. I don't know. But long story short, I was so high on them that I legitimately considered them my second favorite band for a long time after Gojira. And I got off the wagon myself around Sense of Purpose. And like I said, that jumping off point varied from person to person. Because like I said, it's been a point of contingency for a long time with In Flames. And I think that differing jumping off point, honestly, probably in the long run helped them because, people are like, well, why the fuck, are people jumping off? And, back to the point of that I made about the interview where they're like, yeah, we play the old shit and, nobody gives a fuck. So, but coming into this one and with the singles, I was highly optimistic, and I've actually been binging the fuck out of this album.
Nice.
Like I adore it. I'm not gonna say it has all the old characteristics that made it in one of my top 5 bands. They definitely have some of their new characteristics in there, but it felt like revisiting an old friend while going on a new journey, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like for me, personally, on like the In Flames discography, I am very late to the In Flames game. Like I was like in high school during the early to mid 2000s. I was influenced by the bands that In Flames influenced, all the melodic metalcore bands like your Triviums, your In Flames, your Killswitch Engages. But when I first heard In Flames, I discovered them at a very odd time. I discovered them on that A Sense of Purpose album with their song Battles, which sounds nothing like the rest of their
Sense of
entire
Purpose, because that's 2008.
Yeah, 2008.
Battles?
Yes, that was the lead single on A Sense of Purpose. And that was the first...
The Mirror's Truth would have been, because Battles is not on that album.
Alias, never mind.
Yeah.
Alias.
Yeah, I knew you were. I was going to say, come on now.
I thought it was Battles. A Sense of Alias was the first In Flames track that I heard, which sounds nothing like anything else they've done.
I fucking love that song.
I do like that song a lot, and I liked that, and I enjoyed it. But then I checked out the rest of the album that it was on, and didn't like it at the time. I didn't really vibe with me. And then, like as I got older and was like trying to learn the influences of all the melodic metalcore bands I was into at the time, In Flames was the name popping up the most.
Common thread.
And I was like, "What? That band with the Alias song?" So like I quickly browse over some of their like other songs I heard, like, oh, I get it now. This is just like what Killswitch Engage and other bands are doing without the breakdowns, for the most part.
Which is probably what endeared me to them.
Probably.
Because like I said, everything was built and based around fucking breakdowns. So I finally, and I've gotten over that a little bit in older age, because fuck, it's fun to be dummy heavy. But, yeah. So... Like, yeah, I mean, you have any more?
Yeah. And like,
sorry.
As I was like, so like I was slowly listen to a little bit more of In Flames stuff. I listened to some of their like the big singles that they're well known for, with songs like Only for the Weak, which is still their most popular track overall. I got into Take This Life, which is probably my favorite song of theirs, currently. As well as some of their other stuff from their quote unquote alternative metal era, like I Am Above from their previous record, which is one of my favorite songs of theirs, and a few other tracks. But also, like in the lead up to this review here, I started listening to some of their big records of recent. Like I listened to Clayman all the way through, both the original and the remaster, as well as I listened to Reroute to Remain, Come Clarity from 2006, and I listened to their last record, I the Mask, as well, to kind of get and A Sense of Purpose. I've listened to that full thing as well. Just try to kind of get an idea of their different eras, how they've changed over the years. And I remember jumping from Come Clarity to their previous record, I the Mask from 2019, and going, oh my God, they changed a lot, even just in that little stint of time. And so it gave me a lot more perspective on what longtime In Flame fans will either like or dislike about this new record, what their complaints were over their discography up to this point, as well as what their newer fans who got into them through their alternative metal era will enjoy about this record as well. I have also been listening to this album for review purposes, but also just out of pure enjoyment, because this album front to back is quite enjoyable, I say, and it has the best of both their thrashy melodic death metal era and their newer alternative metal era as well.
The only there's one negative, and for whatever reason, the intro track going into track 2 has a audio drop off that I don't understand.
Really? I know the opening track is kind of the acoustic guitar thing.
Yeah, but it's up here, and then if you have the stereo cranked and you're listening to it, when the next one kicks in, it dies a death quality wise. And I've not heard an album that does that. Because in other songs on the album that combine those two things, it doesn't happen like that either. But the first track seems boosted, and then the second one, which State of Slow Decay is a fucking banger.
Oh yeah, that was like the first single of this overall, which initially built the hype.
Yeah, let's say it got me very optimistic because I remember hearing it and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that one grabbed me pretty quickly as well.
We talked about it immediately and I was like, fuck. Meet Your Maker was the single that we covered, right?
That was the latest single on the last EP, which had all their.
So I was down on it in the context of the record. I'm much higher on it.
Yeah, that might be my favorite track from this record, honestly.
My favorite track's probably one that you wouldn't think.
What is your favorite track from this one?
The Pure Light of Mind.
Really? That's your favorite one?
Dude, it's something, and I've always said, because like I said, even in previous episodes, I've alluded to the fact that, I've said that a lot, and I alluded to, for whatever reason, that's been like my catchphrase for this fucking, besides the MegaDave. But every time they do like a more traditionally ballady song, that style they fucking nail, and they don't overdo it on the record too much.
Yeah.
Let's say because like the complaints I have with the In Flames records that I haven't listened to, I can't say that I keep saying I need to go back and actually listen to them because my complaints aren't going to be fresh when I'm talking about it. I just know that I lost interest. But when I first heard this one all the way through, I told my sister, because me and her both highly enjoyed A Sense of Purpose. I was like, I think this album's better.
This is definitely better. Because like me personally, with A Sense of Purpose, that was like one of the records I listened to leading up to this. And that seems to be like a kind of collective dropping off point for a large majority of older fans.
See, we both loved the record, but we also saw them live around the time, and they were
Yeah.
They were
stylistically though, like the change from A Sense of Purpose from the previous record, Come Clarity, is very audible. They double down on the whole like melodic big arena hook like attempt at choruses and stuff,
and it worked. And maybe like that progression is what eventually. It's just that record itself.
Yeah, because like I personally don't like A Sense of Purpose that much.
Yeah,
to get it. I do love Alias because that track was the first track I ever heard, and of course there might be a nostalgia factor to it because like I was around.
Well, The Merest Truth was on Madden.
that might
so I highly enjoyed that. Sleepless Again was a great fucking song. Delights and Anchors was great. Chosen Pessimist. I mean, whatever. You don't like it. It's still a strong record to me in the discography. I mean, fuck it. As a guy that was
like the first few songs were pretty strong. The Merest Truth was a good one. Really, like all the way up to Alias. Those first 4 tracks were solid. But then I think like after that, it started having a drop off point where it didn't really have the same.
I'll take you through The Chosen Pessimist and say it drops off. Like the last little bit of the album probably gets long in the tooth.
Yeah. And I've noticed this seems to be like a trend since they're like from that album onward, where the first half or first third of like In Flames albums are always pretty strong tracks, but then there's this drop off in quality. They front load a lot of their albums since then. With the previous record, I The Mask, that I listened to recently, the opening few tracks are awesome. Voices, the title track, Call My Name, and I Am Above, which is one of the best songs I feel like they've ever done. But then,
I remember listening to it when it came out, and I was very mad. Yeah. Here's the thing: 2 different people that are saying In Flames is a great band, and we're not agreeing on anything about. There it is.
Oh fuck! It finally fell.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh shit! That got slightly picked up in the audio.
Well, good. So that's for the fans. Donte is a.
I finally dropped the audio in the face.
He's a reckless behemoth of a man.
It's still working. We're still being recorded.
So there you go. But that just. I always say that when there's point of contingencies with a band like that, it's almost a sure sign of how good they are.
Yes, it shows that they definitely have a diverse.
Because you can have the conversation, and it's like I'm not going to sit here and be like you're fucking wrong, but you are. No, but yeah, man. And this album definitely, man, like front to back, because like Cynosure. Cynosure.
I've been calling it Cynosure.
Fucking the bass tones and shit. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And then
that bass tone is fucking awesome.
And then Dialogue in B flat minor, which
that is
they're all really good. Like I said, the album peaks. Like I've actually, like when I get to Pure Light of Mind, I've actually been repeating that, and I don't repeat songs. I'm not that guy.
Yeah. I do enjoy that one.
For whatever reason, it's resonating with me, and I don't know. It may I'm sentimental this time of year, anyways. The cold open kind of gave a little bit of that. So maybe it's just hitting my heartstrings in the right way. But yeah, man. I don't know what to say I like about it more than all the stuff that because like I said, I didn't really give attention to the stuff when I fell out. So I can't really sit here and say why I like it more than the shit that's come out. I just know that I lost interest for a long time. State of Slow Decay as a track fucking hooked me back to want to listen to this album. You know, same thing as we were talking about that Cattle Decapitation single. Like that first single, if it grabs you and you're like, oh shit, this is a perfect example. That first single grabbed me from the get-go, and I wasn't fucking disappointed in the fucking least. I won't call it my favorite, but the way I'm listening to it, it could be. Like, I'm that high on it. And I don't know, like, the other In Flames fans that I've known throughout the years, whether I haven't really had the conversation with too many people. I'm sure that this will create a little dialogue with some of those people. So I don't know what the overall opinion is. You're saying it's generally positive.
Yeah, like from everything I've seen online, the general consensus is that this record is excellent. It's the best record they've done in years. I don't know about. There's a lot of people saying this is their favorite record ever, but they do say that it is the first enjoyable In Flames record that they've had. Even for fans that dropped off the wagon.
I'm binging it enough that it could be. I don't want to. Like I said, I would put it probably. I don't know. It's hard. Like, they're a hard band. Like, I'd have to actually go back and listen to everything because as far as ranking the shit, because I just
eventually we'll have it In Flames.
For me, liking A Sense of Purpose as much as I do, you know, I have a wider spectrum of what I enjoyed up until that point. So, like, ranking those albums up to that point is hard for me. So throwing an album like this that is super fresh. So, I mean, you want to give it some time before you make any grand fucking gestures at it. But like I said, when I text my sister after my first listen, I was like, dude, this might be better Sense of Purpose. And that was the album me and her honestly bonded over and fucking was super into at the time. And like I said, we had just seen them live, I think twice on that tour.
Yeah.
Between Gigantor and the Expo 5 show I explained on previous episodes. And so, yeah, just for my leaping off point, being able to go back to that and almost definitively say I like this record more than that, that's a hell of a fucking thing for me to say.
There's a feat when a new record can top a classic record you have sentimental value for.
Yeah,
for sure.
And yeah, I mean, I would say it's firmly in the top 3 to 5 for sure. As far as how I'm feeling about it right now. I mean, obviously that can change, and it is fresh, it is new, it may not age as well, but like I said, fucking Pure Light of Mine might be a top 5 song for me, and they have a lot of really good fucking songs. So I would grade it at, man, see, I gotta grade one album's hard.
What I do is like I usually rate stuff out of a 5 for me. That's what I normally do for ranking up.
I'll firmly put it at a 4.
Out of 4?
Firmly. It could go up, could go down. But like, I mean, I don't think it'd go down. I think it can only go up.
I'd say that for me, with this album, of course, I don't have like as long of a history with In Flames as you do, so I'm still a relatively new fan. Out of the albums that I still need to listen more to the pre-Clayman records.
I just want to be tough on like not giving something a high score to. Like, yeah. I don't want to be like 5 or 8, like depending on how we're doing the grading for whatever we're talking about.
Like, I wouldn't put this as like a perfect score, but this is, out of what I've heard through the year so far, this is possibly my favorite record of the year so far.
If I said 4.5 right now, I wouldn't be mad, but I'm going to put it firmly at 4.
I could almost give this a 4.5. I'd say that I'd give this one a 4 out of 5 myself.
4.25.
Okay, now we're getting a little too.
4 and a quarter.
Personally, I would give this a 4 out of 5. Out of In Flames records that I've heard and listened to, this is probably my second favorite after Reroute to Remain. I've noticed that a lot of things that, like, with this record, I've noticed a reason why a lot of people are liking it is because I'd say it's kind of very comparable to the Come Clarity record in that it has that happy balance. It found the same happy balance between this big arena alternative metal hooks that Come Clarity had, where Anders Frelden, I think is his last name.
I've always said Freyden. Anders Freyden.
It's probably Anders Freyden. Has a lot of confidence in his vocals these days. Where
then he cut his dreadlocks. That was a big jumping off point. When Anders got a lot less sexy.
He cut up the drugs, got less sick. He's always had the anti-rock star look anyway. He's wearing flannel and jeans.
So like there are certain dudes me and my sister perv over. And Anders was one of them.
I haven't gotten a good look at his face really to say one way or the other.
No, it wasn't about his face. It was just Anders. It was the whole package. Joe DePlantier is in there.
He does have that little.
Sebastian Bach is definitely in there. We've perved over some Sebastian Bach. Yeah, me and my sister have a weird relationship.
It's Kentucky.
Well, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, no, not like that.
I just had to say it.
But our man crushes are usually pretty mutual.
But yeah, like this record, like I could tell why it's getting so much attention because it has kind of like with the hooks on this thing. Like it has a lot of people, the old classic In Flames fans have been down on the alternative metal like arena, like radio hooks that they go with, and also the production job on some of their last few albums have been like a little bit weaker. It doesn't have that same bite, that same edge that some of the early records had.
Yeah, the shit that goes on this album fucking goes.
Yes, they definitely they brought that like thrashy melodic death metal edge to it with songs like Say the Slow Decay, Meet Your Maker, which has probably my favorite vocal performance Anders has on this record because something I forget about, Anders is well known for his like higher fry screams that he does because it's very distinctive. He has a lot of his natural voice mixed into it, but on Meet Your Maker, his
lows are good.
He has some powerful guttural lows in Meet Your Maker, like Meet Your Maker, like fuck, I forgot he could get that low, and it's got like some balls to it, which makes that one like a standout for me. But
he doesn't take this life a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like he sticks more so to his high fry.
Oh, he does, but I'm just saying he's always had it integrated in there.
But like even when the band goes like full melodic on a track like Bleeding Out, which like that track is like it's straight up fits with any of their other modern records, we're saying like Battles or Sound on Playground Fading or anything of that. But with this mixture where they've added in more of the heavy material, more of that old Melodeath sound into it, it allows the alternative metal like melodic stuff to stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
Where it's like that, like those melodic tracks with the like hooky radio hits, like songs on it, it allows it to stick harder because it's a contrast to these heavier tracks like your Foregone's Part 1s, your Meet Your Makers, Slow Decays, and all that. And the last half of the record really goes really melodic, but it has such strength to it, like being mixed in with all the heavy stuff that it's just like the best version of their melodic sound.
As I said, it was meeting an old friend for a new journey.
Yeah. And
I think that sums it up perfectly for me.
Yeah, it's like I'd say like this album is just a wonderful mixture of pretty much their entire history, honestly. It's the best of like everything that In Flames has done, and it's currently one of my favorite records of the year so far. Definitely going to be one of my favorites of this month for sure.
I don't binge a lot of new albums that are from bands of that era. Like I would say, like the most binged record I've had, or usually, I mean, we alluded to the Homies earlier because I do binge my fucking Homies. I fucking love them. Like I said, we're playing with some of the greatest bands in the world. I don't give a fuck. I full-heartedly believe that. But yeah, like, I mean, Four in the Strange Band record and shit, like, I've been binging like that, but, like, me binging a new early 2000s metal band record, usually it's just, like, a one or two
really
listen, yeah, and I'm just like, well, I know, but as far as, like, their true height.
True heyday.
Yeah.
Broke through.
But yeah, man, like, I haven't binged, I mean, I binge my Gojira, because, I mean, it's my favorite band. But like I said, like I'm glad that this record exists because it's making me want to go back and revisit some of the stuff I was down on. It's making me go back and listen to all the old stuff that I've always loved. And bravo In Flames, and thank you. As a kid, that loved you. I am now a 31-year-old adult that has no fucking shame in saying I love you again. And fuck anybody who says otherwise.
Yeah, so
It's because of me, Dave. You went to Gigantor, Dave.
oh man. So there you have it.
It all
pretty
goes
much.
back to Dave Mustaine.
Both me and David giving very positive reviews, highly positive reviews of the new In Flames record Foregone, both giving 4 out of 5s. This record, it's one you definitely need to listen to and give it a spin. Even if you haven't heard In Flames before, this is a really good starting point, even if you haven't given In Flames a chance yet. Because it has like a good taste of like their entire.
It'll give you
entire
everything.
era. Yeah, it gives you a good gist of what they sound like.
If you like heavier shit than this album, you got heavier shit than this album. If
If
you
you're a fan
like
of early 2000s metalcore, you'll like this one. You want that mixture of melodic and heavy. It's got that. It's got nice guitar work. It's got great.
Yeah,
It's great. All around.
Whatever you're into, you got something to sink your teeth into.
Yes. So In Flames, Foregone, good record. Listen to it. And I believe that is all we have for you.
Thank
all
fucking
today.
God.
This is our
I'm
longest.
tired of looking at you.
This is our longest episode yet. We drank a lot. We're hungry.
You drank a lot.
I drank 5
I
beers.
stayed responsible.
I drank 5.
I had to stay
I
responsible.
drank 5 pints, honestly. But I've kept the ship sailing quite well, I'd say.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
doing all right.
We did it right. And I say this episode is quite entertaining with a lot of good material in it. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast here. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as check out the standard Heavy Haystack YouTube channel as well, where we'll have like a little bit of excerpts from here and like standard YouTube videos in a more traditional YouTube format, as well as listen to us on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Give the podcast 5 stars to be able to spread the word to more people and grow the Heavy Haystack family even larger. And to have your own music played on the podcast, be sure to, or even give us a question that we can answer here right on the pod. Drop an email to theheavyhaystack@gmail.com, and we shall answer those for you, or possibly get your band's music on the podcast. But until next time, next episode possibly will be another news and new singles episode.
Yeah, because I have not listened to any
Yes,
Dillinger
because
Acacia String, so
the next planned album ranking episode is going to be
I have to do extra research.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Dillinger Escape Plan. It's a band that David is completely unfamiliar with, and I need to listen to their discography as well a whole lot more before I can talk about them in that level of capacity. So the next one's going to be another news and reviews episode. We will be talking about new records that will be coming out in singles. But yeah, keep in touch, keep subscribed, send emails if you want to ask questions to the podcast, or direct message us on Instagram, Facebook, what have you. But until next time, peace, love, music, and we shall see you all
Sweating bullets! Deuces.
on the next episode. God damn it, David.